Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Pro Soccer Talk Live. Delighted to say I'm Joe Prince-Wright, joined by Andy Edwards in Kansas City, and we are going to be joining you for this massive Liverpool against Real Madrid game in the UEFA Champions League, last 16, first leg. Andy, we've got the team news coming up along the bottom there. We're going to talk a lot about that, but what are your feelings and vibes heading into this game, mate? Because this is, of course, the repeat of last year's final. Two heavyweights going head to head, and it's difficult not to get very excited about this game.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned it's a repeat of last year's final, because I was going to ask you, have these two teams ever played in an important game in the Champions League before? It feels like it's almost an every year thing at this point. Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp back to the top of the game in Europe, and Real Madrid just remaining there under a number of different managers. And obviously Carlo Ancelotti has won a half dozen or so, it feels like, at this point. It's nice to have a European rivalry like this. Obviously, we've got Premier League rivalries, and Real Madrid and Barcelona have one another. But to have this kind of midweek action and a matchup like this at Anfield, of all places, it feels really special. I'm glad they get to play a home and away this time, so that it's not just at a neutral site, because it does feel like, a place like Anfield, and even the Bernabeu, just adds so much to the 90 minutes of football on the field.
Absolutely. Let's talk through the teams then. You can see them rolling down the screen on the bottom. Liverpool, unchanged from their win against Newcastle at the weekend. Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold right back, Robertson left back, Van Dijk and Gomez at centre back, Fabinho and Henderson midfield, and then youngster, the teenager, Bajcetic coming in again, starting again. What a huge night this is for him. And then Darwin Núñez, he's fit to start. There was a bit of a question mark about his fitness, but that's huge considering him, Gakpo and Salah, who start up top tonight, have really started to click through the gears, haven't they, Andy? So what are your thoughts on that Liverpool lineup right away?
Yeah, it's about the best that Klopp can put together at this point. I think if you look at the injuries that they've got and have had for quite a lot of this season, Thiago being unavailable, Luis Diaz, who was so fantastic after coming over last season in January, it felt like he was the succession plan to Sadio Mane leaving, and then he's just been almost completely unavailable this season. Ibrahima Konate as well along the back line, kind of a lost season for him too. So as much as Liverpool have struggled in the Premier League, it's kind of amazing what they've been able to do in the Champions League to get through their group and then have this massive tie in the round of 16 with Real Madrid.
And looking at Real Madrid's team, obviously pretty much what we expected from them. Courtois in goal, Carvajal right back, Eder Militao and Rudiger centre backs, Alaba left back, and then Modric, the ever just always present, isn't he, in this Real Madrid greatness. Keeps on going. Absolutely incredible player. He's in midfield alongside Camavinga and Valverde, because Tchouaméni and Kroos, they're out. They didn't travel to England. So in midfield for Real Madrid, it feels like this is where Liverpool could perhaps get at them, and they're a little bit unbalanced compared to what they previously have been. And we look back to previous teams, Casemiro, missing him a little bit this season. And up top, Vinicius, Benzema, who's back, which is huge for them, and Rodrigo as well. So pretty much as strong as Real can go with those two midfield injuries. So what do you think about them, Andy?
Yeah, that's the part of the field where you move on for the long-term plan with Tchouaméni and Camavinga in there, and obviously they are for 5, maybe 10, 15 years down the road, kind of the pairing that Real Madrid will look for. But I think you weaken yourself just a little bit in the short term, and then you have unavailabilities due to injuries and illness, and so it is what it is. But the firepower up top is really something. It's been a lot of fun to watch Vinicius come into his own, and I think we forget sometimes that just because a player, it costs a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars when they sign, he signed at 17, moved at 18 years old, and it didn't happen immediately. And now all of a sudden, a few years later, clearly one of the best players in the world. We saw how good he was at the World Cup. It's just, it feels like the succession plan also is in place for Real Madrid in the attacking part of the field, with Benzema coming towards the end of his career, but obviously still scoring a ton of goals for Madrid. So again, just so much talent, so much firepower, so many names all over the field. Like, this is what the Champions League is all about.
Absolutely. You can see the teams out, the Champions League anthem being blared out at Anfield, and Darwin Núñez there had to love that. A really nice smile on his face. He was almost looking around like, I cannot believe I'm playing at Anfield against Real Madrid in the Champions League knockout game. And what a lovely picture there, both teams. And right now, You'll Never Walk Alone is being belted out at Anfield as well. So what a special European occasion this is. Real Madrid fans in one corner, Liverpool fans going absolutely crazy, trying to give their team an advantage. And this is going to be a fun one. So on Pro Soccer Talk and NBCSports.com, we'll have all the latest reaction analysis during the game on the site as well, video highlights, recap, and much more from Anfield after this game. So stay with us throughout our coverage today. And let's get some of your predictions in the comments section. A lot of you are joining us. Let us know what you think the score is going to be today between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And I just want to say, there's something quickly caught my eye before this game, Andy. There was a lot of reports in Liverpool city centre that fireworks were set off, as we're going to see now. Before this game last night, Real's players are trying to have a bit of a snooze, but Liverpool's fans let off a few fireworks near their team hotel. So what do you make of this? Is this give Liverpool an extra advantage at all, or is it kind of a Real Madrid give them a little bit of an extra motivation to say, hey, that wasn't cool, guys. We want to beat you even more than we did yesterday?
Yeah, probably no real advantage, but it's fun banter. It's fun to talk about, and it goes to the point that we made earlier about Anfield. Anfield is it almost feels like Anfield is a player of its own in a matchup like this on a big night, a big occasion in the Champions League knockout rounds, and so it adds a little bit of extra spice. It's fun to talk about, but at the end of the day, obviously they're going to settle things on the field.
Absolutely. But, sometimes we see fans setting off fireworks at the wrong hotel, but it seemed like Liverpool's fans got it right with this one. And, I can't imagine Modric and co would have been too happy waking up to that in the early hours of this morning. So let's see what kind of impact it has on the game. Let's get to some of your score predictions. We've got a lot coming in. We've got 3-1 to Real Madrid, 3-1 to Real Madrid from Michael Smith and Gislanda as well. And Brian says 2-0 to Liverpool, I think there. And Tony's got 4-1 to Real Madrid. Go Liverpool. Kirby Aldrich says 3-2 Real Madrid. Wow, there is a lot of predictions here for a Real Madrid win. 2-1 to Real. DH claps there. Andy, what's your prediction as we get ready for this game to kick off at Anfield? Are you... it's difficult, right, in the first leg to kind of predict how it's going to go.
Yep. Yeah, there's either going to be no goals or a lot of goals. That's kind of, there isn't really a balance between the two in first legs. I tend to think, given the struggles that Liverpool have had defensively this season, especially in the Premier League, and the midfield issues that Real Madrid have right now in this game alone, I do think there might be some goals for both sides. So I'm kind of feeling, I don't know, maybe a 2-2, set up a really, really interesting second leg going to Madrid here in a few weeks' time. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's hard to remember competition to competition, but away goals no longer used in Champions League, and so it sets it up even more interesting for the second leg, right?
Oh, it really does. It really does. So I'm looking through my predictions for this. I actually went 2-1 to Liverpool, which there's a few Liverpool score predictions, and Yusha there says 3-2 to Liverpool. Godfred Boateng says 2-0 to Liverpool. So wait and see. But we're underway, Andy. The kickoff has happened at Anfield. Real Madrid are trying to knock it around, but high pressure straight away from Liverpool. Trying to put Courtois under pressure. But this Real Madrid team always seems to just find a way of being so calm and composed on the ball. But we are underway in this massive game in the Champions League between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And thank you to everyone for joining us so far. And I want to ask you, where are you guys watching from? We get so many comments on this watch-along that we did during the World Cup for Premier League games, now these big Champions League games. All over the world, you guys are tuning in. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you know what's going on at Anfield, answer any of your questions about the tactics, personnel, what we think, Andy, right? And we have a lot of opinions that we share between ourselves anyway, privately. So let's just get it out there in the open on these watch-alongs. So, okay, let's go Liverpool. That's what Stoney's saying. And Carlo Ancelotti looks like he's barking out a lot of orders early on, Andy. What do you think is key for the Real Madrid early on in this game? It's just to kind of weather the storm of Anfield and Liverpool high pressing, right?
Composure. All about composure in those first few minutes. Don't let the occasion, don't let the atmosphere, don't let the energy and the intensity of Anfield get to them. And I don't think it will. This obviously is a very, very experienced team that has won everything under the sun in the club game. And so, Liverpool having a little bit of success there.
Then that's exactly what Liverpool want, right? They want exactly as you're saying there. Real Madrid, a little bit of lack of composure, slack pass, good high pressure from Liverpool. They're hunting in packs. And I think it was Gakpo got in, just slipped as Henderson was there as well. They had a kind of a 3-on-2 situation, and less than 2 minutes into the game, and we're already seeing a pattern develop here.
Yeah, it's the press is all about hunting in packs, like you say, Joe. If you got one player going to press, that's not a press. That's somebody being out of position and opening up space for an easy ball forward, and then the ball moves up the field. But what Liverpool, when they've been at their best under Jurgen Klopp, it's 2 and 3 and 4 players all moving in unison with one another. One player steps, somebody rotates into space to cut out the new passing lane that's there. It's a beautiful thing to watch when it's working right. It just hasn't really been working so right for Liverpool this season. I think that's been a big reason for their struggles.
That's really true, right? I think we've seen them look more like themselves in the last couple of games against Everton and Newcastle, but still not totally fluid, still not 100% Liverpool. But I think it's quite promising for Jurgen Klopp that they've returned to that kind of tempo higher up the pitch. And he said it himself, right? If we had played Real a few weeks ago, wouldn't have been the best situation given the form they're in. But now they've kind of regained it. And maybe I'm wondering, just refocused a little bit. They know that they've got such a big challenge here against Real Madrid. Maybe that just focuses the mind and sharpens it up a little bit more. I mean, players always want to be focused, right? But it feels like Liverpool are a very good knockout. Oh, goal!
Yep.
Oh, Nunez, what a goal. Just saying, more focused, sharper, an incredible back heel finish there. And I think it was Mo Salah with the ball to find him in behind. We can see a replay here, but what a goal from Darwin Nunez. The Liverpool fans are going absolutely crazy. I don't think there's a question of offside there, Andy. So Liverpool have got the perfect start at home within the first 4 minutes. They are 1-0 up against Real Madrid. As we're seeing the replay here, Gakpo initially tried to play it. Bajcetic goes to Henderson. Henderson goes wide to Mohamed Salah on the right. He cuts inside. Nunez gets in behind Eder Militao, I think it is there, and Carvajal, and then a lovely back heel finish to wrong foot Courtois. And that's a Liverpool goal. That's the best way I can describe it. That's like watching Salah find Mane for all the last few years and finish. And Nunez, what's that? 3 goals in his last 3 games for Liverpool. So incredible. Sum this up.
Yeah. Our friend Nick Mendola is not with us today, but nobody has backed Darwin Nunez to come good eventually at some point this season than Mr. Mendola. And so it's a bit bittersweet probably that he's not with us today. But yeah, you said it well. A Liverpool goal, you get the ball out wide, and that is an incredible run from the far side by Nunez there, splitting the right back and the center back, getting lost in between them, timing that run absolutely perfectly. That's what you spend, nearly $100 million on to bring in a goal scorer into a team like Liverpool, a player that can step up into these occasions, not unfamiliar with the Champions League and the knockout rounds from his time at Benfica. He looks very, very comfortable. He looks to be in his element now at this point. And we have to remember, again, like we talked about with Vinicius at the start, sometimes it takes players just a little bit of time to bed into a new club, find their footing, understand the system and what's asked of them, what's required of them. And now Nunez, like you say, 3 goals, 3 games. It's a very, very scary prospect for the rest of the Champions League field and even some teams in the Premier League. If you kind of look at the table and guess, well, maybe Liverpool have a little bit of a hope to get back into that top 4 race this season.
Absolutely. And we're maybe seeing the evolution of Darwin Nunez, right, in terms of how he's figuring out this Liverpool lineup, how he kind of fits in. And we have seen it clicking in with his goal at Newcastle last week, Gakpo and Salah. And my word, what an amazing start for him. And I said it before the game when they were playing the Champions League anthem and the cameras panned down the line at both players. Yeah. He was the one player that just was smiling, a huge grin on his face, and just seemed to be really embracing the moment. And so often, right, that's just, I think there's so much tension and pressure in these situations.
This is what he went to Liverpool for, right here, that moment right there. And by the way, 7 points back and forth with 2 games in hand. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, Liverpool are on fire right now. And, just it seems like it's all kind of come back together at the right time with the injuries. Van Dijk's back, Henderson's back, Fabinho's surging forward now as he gets into the penalty box, and he's gone down right on the edge of the penalty box. I don't.
Interesting.
But here we go at the other end now. Vinicius has put Joe Gomez under pressure, but he's played it back to Alisson.
That's an incredible sign, though. If Fabinho is making those runs and those dribbles through the heart of everything into the penalty area, I think you could make a case that he's been as much off of his game as, say, Virgil van Dijk or Mohamed Salah at times, or insert the center forward who's not scoring goals on a given day. To see him back to charging through midfield like that is, again, just another really, really good sign. And interestingly enough, it looks to be a good tackle there. Looks like he got some ball first, maybe caught a little bit of leg afterwards, but again, just a good sign for Liverpool.
Good sign for Liverpool. Yeah, I think he got a little bit of the ball there. Camavinga, right, just got his start. You can see the close-up. There's a little bit of concern on his face, I think, once he saw Fabinho nearly getting free, but did just enough. But yeah, what are we? Not even 10 minutes into the game. It's been all Liverpool so far. 1-0 up, Darwin Nunez with the opener. Brilliant team move there and finishing it off. And Andy, I guess I'm thinking about how much of an impact he can have in the final few months of the season. As we said, there's a lot of football to be played in the top four battle in the Champions League, but it has been a slow start for him. He has, like we said, Nick mentioned, Salah gets in down the right. He's cutting inside on his left foot, but David Alaba there just did brilliantly to snuff out that chance. But our friend Nick Mandola has been bigging him up, saying, watching him week in, week out, he's getting in the right positions. He's been hitting the bar. Chances just haven't been falling to him in the right situations. So is it just you need a couple of goals to go in, and then all of a sudden you're purring and you're flying for him? Are we going to see him surge up the goal scoring charts in the final months of the season?
Yeah, typically young goal scorers tend to be streaky. They'll go on runs where they'll go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games without scoring, and then they will just score goals in bunches. And once you get that momentum, once you get that confidence back, how many times have we seen it? A player just then cannot stop scoring. And Liverpool obviously are always going to create scoring chances. It's just about putting them away. And I'm looking here at some of the Premier League numbers this season. Brighton, the team that we always lament, they create all the chances, they can't finish them, have scored more goals than Liverpool this year, one more goal than Liverpool this season. But I think that just kind of puts into context a little bit what has gone wrong for Liverpool's season. If they are not an elite defensive team the way that they have been in years past because of the press, for reasons that we've already talked about, they have to score a boatload of goals, and they just haven't been. And so it might be some of the most entertaining football that we see anywhere if this is who Liverpool are going to be the second half of the season, just a team that tries to outscore everyone. I'm absolutely here for it. I love watching that team when they're playing like that.
Absolutely. And we got some comments here. Luke W says Darwin is getting his feet. Yusha says Liverpool owns Real Madrid. We've got Let's Go Liverpool is another comment coming in there. So I think a lot of Liverpool fans will be obviously absolutely delighted with the way they're starting here, Andy. And it's pretty much one-way traffic right now. So they're getting the ball wide to Salah. He's flicked it. 1-2 of Alexander-Arnold. Salah in the box, clips it up towards the back stick. Bit of a slip there, but Robertson regains it. Bacetić gives it away. And now Modric, the little magician's on the ball, plays it out to the left. Here comes Vinny Jr. Benzema's overlapping on his left. It ends up with Benzema after the deflected pass from Vinny Jr. And then he finds Valverde in midfield. Valverde to Modric. Modric to Valverde to Alaba. This is the first bit of real possession that Real Madrid have had so far in this game. Benzema's cutting inside on the right. Looking for the 1-2 there, but Modric played it back. And Real Madrid keep the ball. And Liverpool, they're in a decent shape defensively now. This is set up nicely for them. They got a 1-0 lead. And this is intriguing, right? Because, again, we talked about it. First legs are weird. Is it almost to be Real Madrid now? Just damage limitation. Okay, worst case scenario. They're in on the right. Good tackle from Robertson. But as I just said, that is almost just damage limitation for Real. Let's not do something stupid here. Let's not be 2 or 3-0 down at halftime and play us out of this leg.
Yeah, but it is also a bit of a difficult situation that Liverpool find themselves in, because you're kind of in the middle, the no man's land of, do we continue to go and try and score more goals, or do we try to protect what we have? Did they score too early? Is the thing that I'm sure everybody on Twitter is saying, because when you score that early, you can't deviate from the game plan just because you scored 5 minutes into the game, but you also can't. The way that they came out, they cannot play that way for 90 minutes if they're ahead.
High press, chance of Benzema, edge of the box to Rodrigo. Brilliant block there. I think it was some Virgil van Dijk coming across. But Liverpool just trying to be a bit too clever there, Andy, knocking it around at the back. And we saw basically the opposite of what was happening in the first 5 or 6 minutes. Real Madrid pressing high, and then Gakpo now turning on the break. This is where Liverpool can have a lot of joy because the game's opening up. It's come to Salah.
Look for Nunez, far side.
Salah.
Oh, he missed him.
Oh,
he didn't see him. He
Nunez
didn't see him. So, okay, that was incredible by Nunez there. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. But Nunez held the ball up against two, nearly 20 yards from his own end line, plays it out, finds Gakpo in the middle there with a brilliant ball, and then makes what got to be a 90-yard sprint towards the back post. And he was wide open. If Salah sees him and plays that little left-footed ball across the back of the defense, it looks like Nunez has another one-on-one with Courtois. And given what he did with the first one, I think you got to back him to put it away.
Just absolutely incredible, right? In terms of the chances we're getting early on in this game. So let us know in the comments what your score predictions are. Again, let us know where in the world you're watching from. I'm in the US, in New York. Andy is in Kansas City. It's a pleasure to have you with us here on this special Pro Soccer Talk Live today. Liverpool against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League, last 16 first leg. And we are, 13 minutes this first half. Liverpool 1, Real Madrid 0. It's an open game, Andy. This is what we love. European nights at Anfield. Yeah. The crowd is buzzing, and this is exactly what we wanted for a game of this magnitude.
Yeah, feels like we're a lot more than 13 minutes into this game. So much has happened, and just the intensity and the pace that it's being played at right now.
It does. As Liverpool try and get in over the top again, but they've had the better chances. So close to a second for Liverpool there, and it's going to be really, really intriguing. Okay, a lot of Nunez fans in the comments. I feel
it's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, I feel like where were you guys a few weeks or months ago? But you know, it happens. A goal does wonders for many things. Andy, it's something we were talking about before the show today, in terms of good defensive play by Van Dijk there, just hammered it clear. But in terms of the Henderson just slipped, and then Camavinga just slips in midfield. Might need to change their studs, some of these lads. Gakpo's coming in. Carvajal plays back to Courtois. But in terms of Liverpool's season, obviously, 2-0! Terrible mistake by Thibaut Courtois. He slipped. They were all slipping. I was just saying it. He slipped and played it straight to Salah, who put it into an empty net. And it is Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 0, with 14 minutes on the clock. And the Liverpool fans are going absolutely crazy. They're in dreamland at Anfield. And Andy, Real Madrid have just gifted Liverpool a second goal. And Courtois, after being the hero in the final last season, has just served it up to Liverpool on the plate there. And, I mean, so many players were slipping. I'm not sure what's going on there with the pitch at Anfield, but incredible. What is going on here? Wow.
I'm trying. He just slipped. I've not seen players slipping all over the field since the Super Bowl, Joe. And that was only about a week and a half ago.
And he kind of
he didn't slip. He wrong-footed himself. I think I think the touch
came off his knee. Wrong. The ball came off his knee as he was going to play it. It came off his right knee as he was going to play it with his left foot. And then it bobbled straight to Salah, who was right on him, and then slotted it home. So, wow. Courtois' face tells the whole story. He's absolutely devastated. Wow. 2-0 to Liverpool.
And think back to the final last year. It was the Thibaut Courtois game, like the crowning moment of his entire career, something that we'll always remember, the performance that he put in to win that final. And then you fast forward 6-7 months, and he's doing that inside his own 6-yard box at Anfield. That's really incredible.
It's brilliant. So wow, what a start! Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Lama there sums it up perfectly. What did I just watch? Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because as we said, there was Camavinga, Henderson was slipping in the middle, Gakpo slipping up. We've seen, and then Courtois makes that big of an error, and you can see he's fuming, right? He is absolutely fuming. There, Godfred, you'll never walk alone. Go Reds! Yes, goal. Darwin the goat, and it's just absolutely incredible. And Paul has joined us from Baltimore. Thanks, Paul Harris. Thanks for joining us. Let us know, like Paul's just done, where in the world you're watching from. Liverpool fans, you must be delighted. Real Madrid fans, how are you feeling? Because you're the reigning European champions, and right now, unless the trajectory of this game turns around very quickly, Andy, they aren't going to be defending their title this season, are they? I mean, it's early doors across this 180 minutes, but it's going to take a lot for Real Madrid. We saw they did it last season against Chelsea and Man City to get to the final, but I don't know if they've got it in them this season. Is that fair enough to say? These powers of the comeback nature?
Didn't they also go through PSG last season? Like, it was the most incredible Champions League, triumph that we've ever seen. The path that they took. If they can come back from 2-0 down inside a quarter of an hour at Anfield, I will be equally impressed. I think. But yeah, this is obviously setting up perfect for Liverpool. And now I think we really see them not sit in defensively, but dial it back just a little bit. You've been gifted, absolutely gifted, a second goal, which was already the question: do you push for the second goal super hard or not? And so I think we'll see them now just try to soak up a little bit of pressure and hit on the counter. And I think they're set up well. They've got good pace on the wings as Real Madrid get into the box there and cleared away by Fabinho. But they've got pace on the wings that they can get into space. But if you've got a player who's finishing chances the way that Nunez is, you don't need more than a couple opportunities at this point. So it sets up really, really good for Liverpool.
It really does. And you can see the Liverpool players are almost jet fueled, right? They're just buzzing around the pitch. They are absolutely flying thanks to those 2 early goals. Anfield is in fine voice. And this is not what I expected, to be honest. Not what I expected. I did predict a 2-1 win to Liverpool, but I did not expect it to be this open early. And this is perfect. If you're a neutral now, Real's got to come out and I think at least score once here, really, today, to not give themselves a huge mountain to climb at the Santiago Bernabeu. And they're giving the ball away again. Pacecic coming through. He's got Nunez on his left. Oh, picked the wrong pass there, but Robertson gets it again. Fabinho's in midfield. Liverpool going forward. Everyone's forward. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson playing it inside. Little flick around the corner. Oh, and Carvajal cuts out the danger. But another great chance there for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And they're slicing through Real Madrid like a knife through butter there, Andy.
Hey, Joe, Liverpool kind of look like Liverpool again. Yeah. It's kind of fun.
When did they come back? I guess the last 2 weeks we weren't trying to read too much into their resurgence, but we should have been really, right? Because this looks like, I don't know what Jurgen Klopp has done, but this is Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a massive step up in competition from Everton and Newcastle to do this against Real Madrid. But I think Anfield is playing a huge part in this game. It's impossible not to think that opening goal inside 5 minutes and the pressure that created it, and then Courtois, just a momentary lapse in concentration, nervousness, perhaps, whatever it is. Not a single Real Madrid player on the field playing up to their standard at this point. And it's not that they suddenly lost all their quality overnight. The pressure of Anfield and the pressure of Liverpool as well. They've been fantastic to start this game. And it's the energy, it's the buzzing around the way that we expect Liverpool to play that is back and has us questioning, when did this happen? Liverpool, are they really, really back? And also it's worthwhile to mention Diogo Jota on the bench now, just about all the way back from being out long-term with an injury. Luis Diaz, I think, within a few weeks, maybe potentially coming back as well. So as we get into the kind of final third of the season, Liverpool getting stronger already and set to get stronger, even more so in the future.
Yeah, this is crazy to watch. Real Madrid in the box, though. Oh, no! Vinicius Jr. with a wonderful strike, pretty much out of nothing. Cutting in from that left side of the penalty box. The Real Madrid fans are going bonkers in the away end. And my word, we have an incredible Champions League last 16 first leg developing here, Andy. Vinny Jr. cut inside. Little 1-2 there. I think it was with Benzema. Finds just a half a yard of space. Bends it around Joe Gomez into the far corner. Alisson could do nothing about that. And Anfield, apart from a small section in the one corner at the Anfield Road end, is silenced because the Real Madrid fans are delirious. They're back in the game. And Vinny Jr., what a finish. But you can see there's a close-up of Jurgen Klopp there, and he's saying, need you to be tighter, need to get tighter. Can't give these guys half a yard. And as good as Liverpool have been, we have seen a few signs now of Real Madrid creating those little openings. And, wow, the quality of Vinicius Jr. just comes to the fore there, Andy.
Yeah, I think we nailed it earlier. Liverpool, they're going to have to outscore everybody the rest of the season. And to be fair to them, that is such a good goal. You can't blame anybody for making a mistake there. Joe Gomez's foot is no more than 18 inches away from the ball when Vinicius strikes it, and he takes it up and over his foot and brings it. It's just an absolutely perfect strike that was unstoppable for any defender with the block, for Allison in goal. This is this could be a game that we remember for a long time if they're just going to keep going back and forth and trading. I mean, that was a nothing scoring chance almost. He had 4 defenders around him, and like you say, just creates that little half yard of space. That's absolutely brilliant from Vinicius, and what that's, I think, 14 goals, 6 assists this season now for him, just past the halfway point. Can you believe a couple years ago people were saying, "Oh, he was a bust. He was a waste of all that money for Madrid." They signed him at 17. He arrived at 18, and now at 21 and 22 years old, clearly a world-class player. It's nice to see him come good, and let him, take that pressure off, and now, clearly enjoying his football in a way that he was not doing before.
Oh, definitely. And this is just an incredible night. Andy, we're 20 minutes into this game. This is.
No, we're not. We've had 60 minutes already, Joe.
Feels like it. I feel exhausted describing this action, but it's been non-stop from the very start. And there's a lovely shot there of Ancelotti on the sidelines, arms folded. He's been there, seen it, and got the T-shirt when it comes to Champions League success. He's not too impressed with this Real Madrid display, but behind him you could see the Real fans waving the white flags in celebration. I know. Usually, and there's a chance here for Vinny. He's on the break, one-on-one with Van Dijk. Gomez is getting back. Benzema's in support. He's trying to find Benzema, but Joe Gomez clears it. But again, an incredible counter-attack there from Real Madrid. And we are 23 minutes into this game, and it feels like 23 hours. So this is just absolute chaos from start to finish. Yeah. And it's I don't know. I mean, we got Liverpool had 3 attempts, 2 on target, scored 2. Real Madrid had 2 attempts, 1 on target, and scored 1. So talk about being clinical and your quality players stepping up in the biggest games of the season. That is
Joe. I don't feel great about your 2-1 prediction holding on for another almost 70 minutes. At some point,
for the first 25 minutes, that's what we were doing. Right?
Okay, got you. No, that you nailed it, my friend. But at some point, the game will slow down just a little bit because it cannot keep up this frenetic pace. Maybe it can. There's not been a ton of scoring chances, but it's just so open as Liverpool in behind here again.
Oh, is it going to be 3-1? Oh, it's going to be off the line.
Wow.
Somehow it didn't go in. Salah was trying to backheel it from 2 yards out. There was an almighty scramble. The ball dropped to Nunez. Eder Militao's now down injured in the box as somehow Real cleared it. But Henderson got in on the right side, played it to Salah, couldn't get the ball out of his feet. The ball bounced to Nunez, and then Danny Carvajal there with a brilliant last-ditch tackle to clear the danger 1 yard away, and then Militao cleared it. But, Andy, it could be 4-3, and we're only, again, less than half an hour in. This is just chaos right now. But some real defensive issues here for Real Madrid because Liverpool, pretty much every time they come forward at the moment, look like they're going to score.
Either one of these teams is going to have to decide we need to get defensively solid and we need to get numbers behind the ball and stop playing so wide open in possession, or it's going to be 90 minutes of this because both teams obviously so accomplished and so capable and so dangerous on the counterattack, and they're just proving it over and over again. None of the scoring chances that we've seen have come through prolonged possession, no slow buildup, no unlocking the defense. It's, hey, there is literally one defender in that half of the field, and we're going to go one-on-one with Vinicius against Virgil van Dijk as we're seeing a replay here. It's Liverpool slotting balls into the channels, getting Salah 5 yards in behind the nearest defender and trying to pick someone out inside the 6-yard box. It is so open that I cannot believe that Carlo Ancelotti is the manager of one of the teams in this game. This is not an Ancelotti type style or performance, and it looks like there's going to be a sub forced here for Real Madrid. I can't quite tell who's
Alaba
back there and down.
I think it might be David Alaba, which would be a huge
with Salah over there on that side having so much joy already. This might actually be what forces Real Madrid into a little bit more of a defensive shape and just try to be a little bit more solid and not take as many risks, because we know how good Alaba can be pushing forward there on the left side or even slotting into central midfield, defensive midfield. So maybe this is kind of a forced tempo changer of this game, which is sad, but at the same time, it might help us make it through as well.
Absolutely. Let's get to some of Send your questions in. Andy and I are here all day to chat with you during this game for this watch along. A lot of Liverpool fans there, just sort of asking, what's going on, what's happening here in terms of these chances, and we've got some good comments here in terms of Vinny does bits but can't hold down the mighty Liverpool. It's as good as Liverpool have been. I feel not great for them over the course of 180 minutes, Andy, because they can dominate these games like they have been. But Real Madrid, like they did against City and Chelsea and PSG, and Groupie's saying it there, Madrid will come back. And that's exactly my point there. They've done it last season in the Champions League. They're not even that bothered, right? In terms of, okay, we're 2-0 down. Don't worry, we'll find a way to get back into this game. And the blink of an eye there, Vinicius, Benzema, Rodrigo just flying forward on the counter. Liverpool have got to be really, really careful with these counterattacks, haven't they? Oh,
another slip there in the box. Yeah, goodness. It's a shame this is the round of 16, though, isn't it, Joe? Like, this feels like it should be, if we're home and away, a semifinal. It feels like it has that intensity already. And again, that's just why we love the Champions League. It delivers entertainment and thrills the way that this game has in not even half an hour.
Absolutely. Liverpool's ground is poor. I don't know. I'm going to watch an NHL game tonight, Andy, over here in the States. And it's just similar vibes right now. There's people slipping all over the place. So I don't know. Maybe just the intensity. When you go to Anfield, they water the pitch a lot.
Yeah.
They water the pitch a lot. And Jurgen Klopp is pretty clear on what side of the pitch they water, depending on which side Liverpool are attacking.
Of course he is.
What's that? Small gains, marginal gains, whatever it is.
Yep.
But, they're not the only team in the world that does that. Trust me. So really intriguing. But Liverpool want it to be a fast-paced game, right? They want to be high tempo. And Real want to have control on the ball. Modric is on it now midfield. And we barely mentioned his name, to be honest, Andy, Modric. So that kind of tells you what kind of game it is, right?
Yes. The pace of this game and the openness does not suit a 38 now at year old Modric.
Absolutely. Valverde's on the ball, 30 yards out, goes to Modric. He plays it into Benzema, back to Modric, out wide to Vinny. He clips it into the back stick. Carvajal, Nunez back, defending in his own 6-yard box. Great flicked header. Flicks it out for Real Madrid corner at the Kop end.
Yep.
There we go. We said we didn't mention Modric's name, and then right on cue, he links up a couple of passes and Real Madrid whipping a dangerous cross.
Yep.
So this is brilliant. I got a question coming in here from Guna11. Do you guys see Real Madrid scoring one more and tying the game? Andy, you want to take that one, mate?
Yeah, I do. And it might not stay tied at that point. Liverpool might get another 1 or 2 or 3 in this game the way that it's going, but it's hard not to see more goals in this game, just given, Liverpool are poor defensively. It's just a fact. We've seen it all season from them. I think we even saw it maybe at times last year, and they were just so brilliant going forward with 4 and 5, unstoppable attackers up top that it kind of papered over those cracks a bit.
Chance of what a save from Alisson. Corner, flick to the back post, and then I'm not sure he got the shot in there. Was it Vinicius again at the back stick? I feel like he got a very similar strike to the goal if it was him. Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Almost identical, right? He
just perfectly positioned. Every defender, that there was a lane this narrow for him to fit that ball through, and he put that ball through there, and Alisson just able to get that big left palm to it this time. Didn't quite place it into the corner where he needed to. Maybe he's not absolutely perfect yet at this point of his career, but yeah, it's hard not to see Real Madrid scoring again in this game if they're able to just find scoring chances off of set pieces like that, if Liverpool are not able to clear their lines. So yeah, there's going to be more goals in this game. Just wait.
Modric on the ball, 30-minute mark. Benzema back to Modric, 35 yards from goal. Plays it into Rodrigo. Lovely flick. Valverde. Hammers it way over the crossbar, and he holds his head, not ashamed, but that's a big chance. You're not going to get many big opportunities like that. He's on the edge of the box, free strike on goal. Robertson maybe just do enough to put him off, shut the angle down, maybe. But Valverde, a player of his quality, he'd be disappointed with that effort, won't he, Andy?
Yeah, I think what Real Madrid have kind of figured out or begun to do at least since struggling with the press early in the game is switch the field from side to side. If you can pull everybody in a red shirt to one side of the field chasing the ball in packs the way that they are so aggressively, and you can with one ball switch from the left side all the way to the right, suddenly you find all kinds of space over there. And that's what you have to be able to do. You got to have the composure to pick your head up and find that space and find someone across the field. But when you're able to do it, you're going to have chances like that. And you got to do a little bit better with a shot like that. You got to at least put it on frame, challenge Allison, because then you've got 2, 3 white shirts inside the penalty area crashing for the rebound. And you never know what's going to happen at that point. So, again, we got more scoring chances. We got more goals coming in this game. This is everything that you want from a Champions League tie. And it's shocking that this is a first leg because first legs are usually so cagey, so slow. Both teams try not to lose the tie in the first leg, and both teams have just said, all right, we'll just absolutely go for it right here. We'll forget the fact that we have 90 minutes more to play in a few weeks' time. We'll pretend that this is one leg and give you guys the entertainment that everybody in the world wants to see.
Absolutely. All right, we've got a question here about Ronaldo. How much do you think it would be if Ronaldo was there? So maybe to harken back to the Real Madrid glory years when Ronaldo was banging in goals for fun. But I don't know. It's intriguing, right, to think about that. But I think Benzema's done a very good job at taking over that mantle as the clinical forward there. As Gakpo wins it in the box, clips it towards Nunez, just overhit, and Valverde clears. But yeah, Andy, it's kind of weird not seeing Ronaldo on these big European nights for a team like Real Madrid, but he chose what he's chosen, right? The way he acted at Man United and the way it figured out. So yeah, but
Fabinho with that little ball into Salah. That's what I was talking about with Fabinho there. If he is progressing the ball like that, like he is, we've seen him do in past seasons when he's arguably been the not even arguably the best midfielder in Liverpool's team, the kind of the player that they built that title winning team around. Even they're going to be tough to stop. But on the Ronaldo thing, it's pretty stark how different Man United have been in the middle of a season from with Ronaldo to without Ronaldo. So at this point of his career, probably not. But yeah, it's interesting that Real Madrid have been able to maintain and stay at the top of the European game after moving on from him because he was so important and scored so many goals and so many big goals. Like he was a player for the biggest games for Real Madrid. And Benzema has just said, okay, I'm fine to take up that mantle. I can be that guy. And Vinicius now is another great ball into the back post there and headed away by Madrid. Vinicius has said, okay, I'll play second fiddle. And I am clearly the next in line to be the talisman of Real Madrid. It's a nice setup they've got going on there for sure.
Absolutely. Goofy Squad says, hola. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Omar says, who do I guys think is going to win? I went with Liverpool 2-1. Andy, what you went with 2-2, which is looking like a very good prediction right now.
Football's winning, Joe.
What's that, mate?
Football is winning right now. All of us, all the fans.
Everybody's going bonkers around the world for this game right now. So let us know where in the world you guys are watching from. A pleasure as always to have you with us. Yeah, Guna says, thanks, lads, and appreciate the live commentary. Our pleasure. That's what we're here for. As ball's in behind, Vinny Jr.'s chasing it down. Alisson, oh, terrible, is it? Oh, goal! 2-2. A horrendous mistake there. A pull-back pass, Vinny Jr. shutting down Alisson, and he didn't clear it properly. Smashes it straight against Vinny Jr. The ball loops up at the cop end. One bounce into the net. And I cannot believe it. Once again in the Champions League, Real Madrid, their fans are going crazy at Anfield. They have gone from 2-0 down inside the first 15 minutes. We're 35 minutes in now, Andy, and it's 2-2. I mean, this is bonkers. And I don't think the 2-2 is going to stand, my friend.
What are we watching? Are these two of the best teams in the world or two of the worst? I don't know at this point. It's incredible entertainment and television. I mean, Alisson is just so casual with that right there and trying to play it on the ground and play it right back to, was that Gomez who played it to him? Vinicius turns away, turns his head because he thinks a booted clearance is coming and he's thinking, well, I don't want to take that in the face. And so he turns away and it hits the side of his right shin and bounces with so much spin straight. That is, wow. We're 2-2 on the scoreboard. We're 1-1 in incredible goalkeeper gaffes. that have gifted goals to both. This is just wow. What's going to happen next?
I don't know. And then there was a close up on Klopp there, and he was almost just sort of laughing and shaking his head. Like you said, incredible entertainment. But with 36 minutes on the clock at Anfield, it's Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2. Liverpool took a 2-0 lead through Nunez and Salah. Courtois mistake for that second. And then Vinicius Jr. has now scored twice, with the second coming via an Alisson horrendous error there, Andy. And
yeah, Joe, I'm used to whenever the ball's kind of played back to the goalkeeper, I'll look away from the second screen, come back to you, get into our conversation. I can't do that now. I can't look away when the ball's played back thinking, okay, it's safe. The ball's going to, possession recycled. We've got a slow moment coming. We have no idea what's going to happen when the ball is played back to the keeper inside the 6-yard box.
And the camera cuts to Ancelotti there, and he looks like the calmest man inside Anfield. So again, he's been there and seen it and done it all, and almost expected at this point that Real Madrid are going to launch an incredible comeback like this. So what a game so far. Let us know in the comments, questions, score predictions. Fang says, I think Real Madrid is going to get a pen and not score it. Then Liverpool takes the first leg 4-3. I'm going to say, I think that's the most specific prediction we've ever got on any of these watch-alongs. So fair play to you. If that happens, then I hope you have money on it, or you go out and buy a lottery ticket tonight, because that is incredible prediction powers there, my friend. Benetti says, do you think, guys, in the second half, Real is going to score a lot?
I think both teams might.
Yeah, I think we're looking at maybe, you know what I've been thinking of? This reminds me of Real Madrid against Manchester United about 20-odd years ago, when Redondo, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, was in his prime. Zidane, Roberto Carlos, Beckham, Roy Keane. That was, I think, I can't remember the score on aggregate, but it was just end to end at Old Trafford. Both teams going at it in the knockout rounds of the Champions League, and very similar vibes to this game. That's just what I'm thinking about right now. Shaquille Ahmed says Liverpool isn't winning now after giving up this lead. And then he also says a 4-2 win to Madrid. And yeah, there's just a lot of great comments. Rogelio Hernandez there says yes, obviously a Real fan. As Liverpool recovered well from that hammer blow there, Andy. But the question about saves there as well. There's one that said, how many saves from nil does each keeper have?
One from each.
Yeah, the stat sheet says one from each. Has Courtois made a save, though? I'm trying to think. Is that...
Did he have a save during that goalmouth scramble? Did he get a hand to anything during it? 3 shots on target for both sides, and each side got 2 goals. So I'm not a math major or anything, but 3 minus 2, I'm going to go with 1 save.
Yeah, but maybe that was the clearance on the line from Real Madrid that counted as a shot on target. I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But I don't know, man. This is just absolutely crazy. Benetti Mirda says, I think it's going to be 3-3 or 3-4. Yeah, not going to argue with that. It's absolute chaos right now. So, Andy, as we head towards halftime, there's 5 minutes. Crazy. 5 minutes of regulation here before stoppage time. What is your sort of feeling right now in terms of where both teams are at? Is this a situation where they'll both actually strangely be happy and disappointed at the same time? It's hard to see. I think Liverpool obviously would be more disappointed, right? Having the 2-0 lead
and at home.
Yeah, it's hard. It's kind of Anfield really was flying, and now it's difficult to see how you pick yourself up from such a high and then such a low within about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I question what Liverpool are doing, honestly, because they went 2-0 up and were gifted the second goal, and they looked the gift horse in the mouth and thought, okay, give us more. We want more, and got a little bit greedy, I think, by continuing to be so open in midfield. I'm looking at them in possession right now. Fabinho's on the ball inside the center circle, and it's just Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk behind him, and he's pushing up well. It's just so wide open, and they've got so many numbers into the attacking third. That they are asking for what has happened in this game to happen to them. It's not been, again, like we said earlier, it's not been long possession by Real Madrid to break them down. It's just been one ball in behind because they don't have numbers back the way that they should with a 2-goal lead, especially in a first leg, knowing that they have to go to Madrid in a couple weeks' time. So as good as they've been in this game and as exciting as they have been going forward, every question and everything that we have said about them defensively this season and today and this week, it's all still ringing true, and maybe even more so.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're entering a really pivotal stage here of this game, Andy. I think just before halftime, if it's 2-2, then both can kind of regroup and go again second half. But Real Madrid are just getting a little bit more control of the game now after that second goal, just keeping it a bit better. And Liverpool just looking a bit under pressure. Rodrigo says Real Madrid will be happy if it stays this way. Fang says Vinny has quite some potential. A little bit of an understatement alert there, Fangs, because he is incredible, and obviously did it in the Champions League final last year, but stepping up big time.
Let me ask you real quick. Is he good enough to one day be in the conversation for best player in the world? I know Haaland and Mbappe have set a very, very high standard for the next decade, but is he good enough?
He's up there with them. I think right now, this might be controversial, but I think he's a better player than Neymar and a more clinical player than Neymar is. So I think that's pretty fair, and I think he's the big thing about him is if he can just stay injury free, right? The amount of he seems to so far, touch wood, I've just not had too many big knocks, and is a bit more robust maybe than Neymar is, just the way he plays. So I don't know. I think that's probably helping his cause as well. But yeah, Neymar is a fantastic player, but I think Vinicius, it's almost a mixture of him and Mbappe, right? That's kind of what he reminds me of a little bit. Clinical ability of Mbappe. He's got that little bit of skill like Neymar has. But Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinicius, I think we're looking at the future of the next 10 years right now. The sort of they would be the Ballon d'Or winners, I think, those three. But as Alexander-Arnold gets the ball stuck underneath his feet, Pacetic tries to knock it wide. There's a free kick to Liverpool, Andy, 44th minute approaching, quite central, 30 yards out-ish. This is Alexander-Arnold country here, I think, right? This would be a chance for him to whip this in towards.
It's for a handball, I believe.
Yeah, on Modric. But Pacecic's there for a teenager. Held his own pretty well in that midfield in the heat of the battle there, right? I mean, I haven't mentioned his name too much, but he's getting stuck in. He's not afraid to get on the ball at all. So, it's a big moment for him. It's a big moment for Liverpool here as Salah and Alexander-Arnold are having a quick chat. Courtois lined up his wall. Fans behind him at the Anfield Road end are looking on a bit nervously from Liverpool, hoping it can go in. But what a game here. 44th minute, Champions League, last 16, first leg. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2, 1 minute before halftime. And they cut to the stands to Roberto Carlos in the stands here. So a picture of him. He could hit a free kick, my word. But so can Alexander-Arnold. So let's see.
You think he could still step out there and put it in from there?
Probably. It would not surprise me one bit. So referee blows his whistle. Alexander-Arnold's made 4 steps back. He's stepping up, Andy. He fancies this, you could tell. Here we go. Alexander-Arnold whips it up and over the wall, but straight at Courtois. So I gave him the big build up there. And he did get it up and over the wall on target, but didn't really trouble Courtois in the end. There's a long throw out to the left.
Oh.
Vinny's in again. Rodrigo. Oh, what a challenge there from Andy Robertson at the back stick. And within 10 seconds, it's gone from Liverpool having a free kick at one end to Rodrigo nearly tapping home at the other. What a throw from Courtois, by the way. Nearly half the pitch, just throwing it out. And Liverpool again getting caught with this high line. They've got to do something about this defensively, but great defending from Robbo there. The last man in the back stick just got a toe in it as Rodrigo was about to slot home. Yeah,
and that's a fantastic ball from Vinicius there to the back post, and right on time with this comment here from Rodrigo about not getting Mbappe being a blessing in disguise for Vinicius and Real Madrid building around him for the future at not a fraction of the cost, but certainly a lot less costly for Real Madrid. Just the timing of everything. We have to remember in sports, especially with player movement and whether players are signed or not signed, how much they go for. It's all about timing and it's all about opportunity. And Real Madrid clearly believing, well, maybe they didn't fully believe in Vinicius being that player because they clearly wanted Mbappe and they rolled out the red carpet, did everything they could. But Vinicius has taken it in stride, not had any sour grapes about the fact that they wanted to sign someone that would have surely supplanted him within the squad, and has just said, okay, I'll be that good myself. You don't have to go sign Mbappe to get Mbappe level production. And what I love about him, and then that scoring chance there was a perfect example. He contributes goals, clearly, we've seen that, but he contributes assists as well. He sets up chances at a much higher rate than a lot of, certainly more so than Haaland, and I would say even more so than Mbappe, with Mbappe playing through the middle. And so he's a very complete player. And I think the fact that he is, not that Real Madrid lacks exposure to the wider world, certainly not in the Champions League, but I do think if he was in the Premier League where week to week he is seen more, I think he would be getting that kind of Mbappe and Haaland level buzz and conversation about him.
Absolutely. As we enter 2 minutes of stoppage, we have 3 minutes of stoppage time. We're into the second minute of that. Liverpool breaking down the right. Salah on the ball, trying to cut inside. He wriggles free somehow of a couple of challenges there. Gets clattered. Referee waves play on with Liverpool have the ball. Fabinho's got it 30 yards out, clips it towards the back post, looking for Robertson. He overhit it. A Liverpool player, I think they want the free kick there, right, Andy? In a dangerous position just before half time. But Salah's laughing and having a little pop at the ref there. But probably Rudiger just in the industry left one on him. I think it's fair to say there. Let him know he's there. That's not Tony Rudiger's first body check in his career and won't be his last either. As Courtois takes a goal kick, and I think this will pretty much be it for the first half. An incredible first half it is. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid at half time. Take a breather, everyone. That was just a sensational half of football. This is why we love the beautiful game. Liverpool 2-0 up early, thanks to a lovely goal from Nunez, and then a mistake from Courtois, latched onto by Mohamed Salah to make it 2-0. But then Real Madrid, to their credit, once again came roaring back. And of course, it was absolutely superb from Vinicius Jr., the first goal, and an absolutely shambolic from Alisson for the second goal that he scored. The ball played back to him, tried to cleared it straight at Vinicius's heel, I think it was in the end. As you said, he turned his back, bounced off Vinicius, looped up in the air and went into the empty net. And Anfield couldn't quite believe it. So Liverpool were in a great situation, Andy, early. Real Madrid came roaring back. That's probably what we were dreaming for when we fired up this watch-along for the first half, right? So your thoughts on half-time, and we know that Real Madrid are going to be the happier team with that 45.
Yeah, my credit and thanks to whoever here at PST picked this game to do our first kind of Champions League watch-along. The quality of this game is, it's still fun when you get a 0-0 game and you're chatting with your friends and talking about the game and having a good time. But you get 45 minutes like that. And by the way, my 2-2 prediction was a first half prediction, Joe. I don't think you specified that, but that's what I meant when I said 2-2. That's just, Real Madrid will be very, very happy. I think Jurgen Klopp is getting to a point now where he almost probably feels powerless with Liverpool, because no matter what they do, no matter how well they play for a period, it always swings back the other direction. There's always the other shoe waiting to drop on Liverpool at the moment. It just feels like they can't get out of their own way. At this point, they can play so well, and then they do what they did in the final 15, 20 minutes of the first half, and just let a team like Real Madrid, who need no help getting back into games, who need no help getting free goals, and a lifeline in a 180-minute tie, and you give that to them. It feels like that kind of mistake and that kind of naivete is going to be punished over the two legs.
Yeah, brilliant. And again, this feels to me so similar to so many of Real's Champions League games last season, right? It's exactly the same as the City comebacks, Chelsea, PSG, all the rest of it. And you can see the stats there, some of the key ones. Obviously, possession-wise, Liverpool, just edging it there, but not much in it. Expected goals, Liverpool are ahead of Real Madrid. Big chances. Liverpool have had 4 to Real Madrid's 1, according to FOTMob. And accurate passes, both teams are in the mid-80s, mid to low 80s there. So a lot of really good football, Andy. That's quite high in terms of percentage-wise to be really accurate. And like you said, It's great to be commentating on a game of this quality because there is just so much great play up and down the pitch. But that great play is also forcing both of these teams into a lot of mistakes and into a lot of areas pressing high that they don't want to be in. So it's almost gone in waves, right? Liverpool started well, got a 2-0 lead. Real Madrid came back, then Liverpool a little bit, then Real had a chance. And now it's set up perfectly for this counter-attacking game. And I think now this is quite perfect for Real Madrid. I think Liverpool now probably know they need at least another goal in the second half to go to Real with at least a 1-goal lead. And that leaves them pretty susceptible on the counter-attack. And the way that Rodrigo, Vinicius, and even Benzema have launched those counters so far, I'd be pretty worried if I was Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool fan heading into the second half. So let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. I'm in New York over here in the USA. Andy is in Kansas City in the Midwest of the USA. Delighted to have you along with us for this Liverpool against Real Madrid watch-along. What a great first half that's been. And over at Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com, we have the latest video highlights, reaction analysis. So you can go to the site and see all the goals as they're going in. We've got a page front and center on the website, as well as this watch along. So have us up in one page, have the other page up with all the videos and goals going in as they happen. And we have all angles covered for you here at Pro Soccer Talk. Let's get to a few of the questions here. Shaquille says, Vinicius looks amazing, one of the best in the world at the moment form-wise. Probably along with Marcus Rashford, right, Andy? There's not many better right now. And consistently, Vinicius, towards the end of last season, when they obviously won the Champions League, what a role he played in that. Been doing it consistently for a long time now at the top level, which is what you need to do to be on the same level as Mbappe, Haaland, and then before them, Messi, Neymar, and obviously Ronaldo. So really good point there about Vinicius for us. And it just shows no signs of slowing down, right?
Yeah. And it's, again, we kind of talked about it. Real Madrid always, with the money and the number of stars that they always have a number one. They always have a number two. They always have a three. The succession plan that's clearly in place. It feels like Real Madrid is being run quite well these days after a period of time where I think you could question everything that Real Madrid did. I'm thinking Eden Hazard, those kind of signings that have just, turned out to be disastrous, really, financially at least. And to have a player at that age who is ascending to the level that he's at right now, and not single-handedly, but everything that Real Madrid have done effectively in this game has come down the left side. And where is Vinicius playing? He's over there on the left side. He's cutting in. Whether he's shooting, whether he's crossing to the back post, he's got his fingerprints all over everything that they do. So it's fun to see him now on this stage against a team like Liverpool, where, rightly or wrongly, the English teams always get a little bit more exposure and eyeballs on them in the Champions League. And to see him do it against one of those teams, I think validates a player, whether it's Vinicius or others, in a way that it doesn't if you do it against, a team from the Bundesliga or a team from Serie A or a team from Ligue 1. It's just against Liverpool and even a Liverpool's team that's struggling this season, especially defensively. This feels like a big, coming of age moment, at least for Vinicius.
Absolutely. And we look at some of the player ratings from our friends over at FOTMob. At the moment, Vinicius is at an 8.9 with his 2 goals. Salah is the best Liverpool player rating-wise, 8.4. And it's just a lot of really solid displays, not defensively. Both goalkeepers are 4.4 for Courtois and 4.5 for Alisson. So you can clearly see the forwards are having a nice afternoon or evening in Liverpool. But goalkeepers and defensively, there's a lot of struggles out there, Andy. But I'm not going to criticize these two teams defensively too much. I think it's down to the high pressing and the quality of some of the forwards. But there's a few comments in there about Alexander-Arnold and Van Dijk. And I don't know. It's interesting, right? I hate to blame individuals, but I just think this is two good teams going at it. And sometimes, like we saw Vinicius' first goal, I don't know what you do defensively on that. You basically closed all the lanes off, and the guy's got half a yard of space somehow and put it into the bottom corner from a pretty impossible angle.
Yeah, it's not so much the defending, like right when the goal is happening. I think it's a lot of what happens before and then the open. And that's a conscious choice that especially Klopp has made And maybe it's an acceptance and a realization that we're not great defensively, and so this is kind of how we have to play, and we have to hope that we can just create so many chances and score so many goals that even when we give up the goals that they have in the first half, that they can still get through. So it's a risky game, and it's obviously why they've struggled so much this season. And now coming up against the kind of quality of Real Madrid, it's a big ask, to be so open defensively and put that kind of pressure on Virgil van Dijk, who, we've talked on PST quite a lot, is simply just not the same player that he was certainly pre-torn ACL, but I would say even going back even further than that. And that team was kind of built on the fact that Virgil van Dijk could defend half of the field on his own. You could push 9 players forward into the other half, leave him back as one, and he will make every single emergency tackle. He will block every single shot, and he's not that player anymore. And I think we're kind of seeing the outcome when you don't have a player like that in the back.
What do you think about this comment here from MCD Ethan? I think it's Joe Gomez showing his lack of quality and ability to play in big games. I mean, both goals he was involved, kind of, right? Like, didn't really shut down Vinicius as closely, but again, I think it's quality from Vinicius. So maybe 60-40 quality Vinicius, maybe Joe Gomez could have slightly better, maybe in 70-30. But then when you played the ball back to Alisson, kind of didn't put quite enough on it, right? I'm not sure. It was an okay back pass, but maybe a little bit too central and made it a bit easier for Vinicius to close that down. He's still kind of finding his feet, right? He had those bad injuries, and then never has regained that form from the title-winning season, really. But yeah, him, Van Dijk being injured, and then Shaquille as well saying Fabinho looking suspect. What do we think? And again, a couple of those players I talk about a lot, just maybe all over the hill together at the same time at Liverpool, and the loyalty that Jurgen Klopp and the board have shown them at Anfield is understandable given all the trophies they've won. But at the same time, right, we saw this in Man United about 10 years ago. Those great teams, just sometimes you're a little bit too loyal, and again, understandably so, but it's hard to deconstruct it or reconstruct it. You have to be pretty brutal, don't you, if you're Jurgen Klopp and the people making the decisions at Liverpool there. And it's easy to say now. Sometimes it happens, right? It happens mid-season outside of a transfer window, and your budget's done for the year. So it's sometimes not something you can predict happening overnight. But Fabinho, Van Dijk, just not really their old selves, and maybe they're not going to reach the levels they have before. I don't know.
Yeah, when you've got defensive problems the way that Liverpool do right now, it's rarely one player's fault. You can rarely say it's Joe Gomez, it's Virgil van, it's all of them, and it's also the system a little bit. And I will also say, and not to not to pile on everybody's favorite target for being a poor defender, but whatever center back plays on the right side for Liverpool is always going to find it difficult to defend the extra space that is there because of Trent Alexander-Arnold going forward and also not being a great defender. And so, Joe Gomez, probably not the quality that you need there. No disrespect to Joe Gomez. It's just, it's kind of a fact. I think that's why they signed Ibrahima Konate, who has been out injured. And I think they think of him as someone who in that specific role partners alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold much better than Joe Gomez would do. And certainly Van Dijk being, you use the phrase, I think there, Joe, over the hill, Van Dijk being at that point of his career now is a multiplier on top of that. For the struggles that Joe Gomez faces because of what's happening to him to his right, and then what's happening to him to his left, it's just like, well, how can Joe Gomez win if the entire back line, so I think there's enough blame to be spread around, and Klopp gets some, Fabinho probably gets some as well. It's just, but at the end of the day, this is just incredible entertainment. And I keep coming back to that. And so maybe don't change it. Maybe just keep it exactly as it is and play another 45 minutes just like that.
Love to see another 45 minutes just like that. Scarface972 says, yo, what did I miss? My word.
Nothing at all.
One of the best first halves in Champions League, recent Champions League memory when it comes to knockout games, I would say, for pure entertainment, drama, momentum swings. Liverpool 2-0 up after 15 minutes from Nunez and Salah. Second goal came from Salah after a mistake from Courtois. And then, to catch you up, Scarface, then came Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior with a lovely finish into the far bottom corner at the Kop end. And then Alisson made another terrible mistake for one of the goalkeepers smashed it straight against Vinicius and it looped up and went in. So to be just brutally honest, I have absolutely loved this game, this first 45 minutes, and it's just been, just incredible. So second half predictions, get them coming in, everyone. Let us know who you think is going to win. Do we think we're going to see, it end in 2-2 randomly? Do we think Real Madrid will be happy with that, maybe shutting up shop? Or are Liverpool going to come flying out and try and get ahead again, just like they did in the first half, and then they'll be susceptible on the counter as the high line that they like to play defensively? We'll see if that comes to fruition. Andy, I had a few sort of questions for you. What do you want to see from Liverpool? Do they go for this now at home at Anfield and try and go for another maybe 1 or 2 goal advantage? Or do they sit back and say, you know what, we're happy enough to go to the Bernabeu with it 2-2, and then we can go at it and it's a one-off game? But Fangs there says Liverpool 4-3. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, if it's 2-2 going to the second leg, Liverpool are done. What we've seen from them in this game, at least defensively, they cannot go away. And to get through in Madrid, they will have to put on one of the greatest defensive performances of all time. And they certainly don't have that in them, as they've shown today, as they've shown all season, as they showed at times last year as well. And so I think they need a couple of goals. And to their credit, they have a bit of the firepower on the bench that they might need to do it. They've got some different looks they can bring on with Diogo Jota, and they've got Roberto Firmino, who at one point this season, and maybe still is, was their leading goal scorer in the Premier League. And so it just offers something very, very different to Cody Gakpo there in the middle. And Jota, for all the time that he's been out injured, when he has been on the field for Liverpool, he has just produced. Whether it's goals, whether it's assists, he has just been dangerous at all times. So I don't think it ends 2-2. I don't know that we get a winner. It feels like there's another goal for both sides, and maybe it ends 3-3. But I think Liverpool have to and probably will chase this game much more than Real Madrid.
Yeah, I think so. And we saw a shot there of Carlo Ancelotti. He was out there just on the bench, just hanging out, having like it might be a tea or some hot chocolate, just looking again like the most relaxed guy on the planet. And he was out there early. He was the first one back out there, and obviously told his Real Madrid team exactly what to do. Has full confidence in their experience. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Andy, but I want to share it with you real quick. When I was living in central London, one Sunday morning, I was up early to travel up to, I think it was Manchester, for some of our Premier League coverage here at NBC. And I walked out of the flat I was living in at the time at about 7:30 on a Sunday morning. 2 steps out of the flat, and I nearly bumped into a guy with a baseball cap on. It was Carlo Ancelotti, and was the nicest guy you will ever meet. And the most weird I was almost Mr. Ancelotti. That's what I said. And then he said hello, and we had a quick chat. And then he was off to, I don't know what he was doing on a Sunday morning, but at that time he wasn't managing anyone, so he was in between jobs. But just a really relaxed guy, as I see him on the screen there. And it's, he knows what he's doing. He's intense when he has to be, but he is, I think Klopp said it best, he's one of the most relaxed and nicest managers he's ever come up against. As Vinicius cuts inside and wins a free kick for Real Madrid in a very dangerous position on the edge of the
Real quick on Ancelotti there. Incredible cool grandpa vibes at all times. At 100%. All times. The kind of guy who's always got, a Werther's original in the pocket, always got a good joke to crack, always there to, pick you back up when you're feeling down. Just everything about him is, cool is how I would describe him. Yeah,
definitely one of the coolest people in the history of football. But we got a big free kick here. Who's on it? I think Modric. No, I'm not quite sure who's on that, but it's in a very dangerous position. A couple of yards outside. Yeah, it is Modric. Outside the penalty box on the far left corner as we're looking at it at the Anfield Road end, right in front of the Real Madrid away fans. A lot of hustling and bustling in the 6-yard box. Rudiger, of course, is at the thick of it. Modric is about to whip it in. Whips it into the penalty. Oh! Goal to Real Madrid. Brilliant free kick from Modric. Straight on Militao's head. And he heads it in from about, 6-7 yards out. Nobody else seemed to move, Andy. Such a weird defensive move there from Liverpool. No one tracked him. and somehow he had a free header from about 7 yards out, bulleted it straight in, and they cut to Ancelotti again, chewing on his chewing gum, calm as you like, and Van Dijk is not calm as you like. He's fuming, so is Klopp. And Liverpool from 2-0 up early on in the first 15 minutes, they are now 3-2 down in the first couple of minutes of the second half. Okay, let's look at it now. Yeah, Militao completely unmarked. Cody Gakpo, he got in behind Gakpo, and then Nunez turned his back coming out to the edge of the 6-yard box. I don't know if they're trying to do zonal, man-to-man there.
Yep.
Looks like zonal's gone all wrong, and that is terrible defensively from Liverpool and ridiculously easy for Real Madrid to take a 3-2 lead. What a game.
Yeah, is this where we opine about how zonal marking is ruining the modern game today, Joe? Because that's just I think it's Cody Gakpo there at the top of the 6-yard box, just completely stood still, back to probably the most dangerous set piece target in Real Madrid's team, and just lets him run right around him, doesn't step forward as he does, and that is as free of a header as you're going to get. And you know, Luka Modric, the service is always going to be impeccable and puts it right there. Clearly something that Real Madrid have identified with the way that Liverpool defends set pieces, maybe from kind of that part of the field, and that there would be a little bit of an opening there, or that there might be the opportunity to run someone around or run a pick and get someone free. It's just so incredibly easy. And I think that's probably that probably describes what 90% of the goals that Liverpool have given up this season, and they've given up quite a few for a team of their standard.
Yeah, just incredible to see that, watching that replay. And that is, just talk about zonal marking gone wrong, right? I mean, that is a nightmare for defensively for a coach, Jurgen Klopp. Those kind of goals, they would really infuriate a coach there, because that's something you'll work on the training ground. But in fairness, Modric, as he clips a lovely ball over the top, he's a genius there. The movement was fantastic from Militao as well. That's clearly something they've drawn up and worked on, but absolute perfection. And yeah, Jesse Turk says it there, Luka, what a great assist. And Shaquille, to be fair to him, is saying 4-2 to Real Madrid for most of this watch along here. So again, brilliant prediction skills. And just a couple of minutes into the second half here, it is all for Liverpool to do here. So wow, this is absolutely incredible here from Real Madrid. But Andy, what do you do with your Liverpool now? See, Bobby Firmino was maybe getting ready to come on. You got to try and get some control back, right, of this game. And
yep.
Now it's very easy for Real Madrid to sit back deeper, having the lead, and just pick them off on the counter.
Yeah, best plan of action for Liverpool, probably asked to restart the second half. I mean, yeah, it's Real Madrid, I think, are a team that's built to kind of defend a lead and control a game, and giving up a goal inside the first 5 minutes, they never had an opportunity to do that in this one. And then they give up the freak goal on the bad touch by Courtois. But they show that they've got the ability to play a wide open game. They've got the firepower, obviously, to go score 3 straight goals. I think now we're going to see a lot of maturity from Real Madrid, the kind of maturity that we wondered if we would see from Liverpool when they went 2-0 up. And obviously we didn't see that. It's going to be a lesson in live real time for Liverpool, I think, about how to play with a lead in a knockout competition at this point. This iteration of Liverpool is just, it's not the team that we have come to know, and a lot of teams have feared in recent seasons. They are not that anymore.
No, they really are. Well, they looked like it for the first 15, 20. And then as soon as that first goal went in for Real, it's just been a totally different game. So, and Real have got a corner here. So let's see if Liverpool have learned their lessons, Andy, from a very similar position now. Militao's forward again. He's obviously looking for his second goal in a couple of minutes. It's played short. Modric has got the ball on the left flank, looking to whip it in, almost falls over. He's got Vinicius on his outside. He's going to take on Robertson one-on-one. Comes back to Benzema, to Modric. Modric is a little step over. Oh, and he's overhit his cross, and it loops over out for a goal kick. Yeah. But just, yeah. I don't know, Andy. I don't know what you do now if you're Liverpool. It's a really dangerous situation to be in.
Are you worried about the mentality, the mindset, just the mental side of Liverpool, the difficult season they've had to this point, the high of being 2-0 up after 14 minutes, and it feels like they're going to lose this game. And if they lose this game, they're almost certainly going to lose the tie. They're out of the Champions League. They've maybe got a way back into the top four, but they don't have the belief and confidence coming out of this game and this tie that they should have, given the way they played in the opening 15 minutes. It feels like for every step forward, it's 2 or 3 steps backwards for them at this point.
Big moment. And of course, you look at Madrid missing Toni Kroos and Tchouaméni as well today. And it's, if they're back for chance for Liverpool in towards the back stick. Nunez gone down under a challenge there, looking for a penalty. But for now, play carries on and Real Madrid clear. I don't know if we're going to see a VAR check here. But for now, Robertson comes down the left. Gets on the ball. Andy Robertson tries to play it back to Salah. Real Madrid half clear. Modric clears it on the edge of the box, but the ball goes out. And now, does it look like there's a VAR check happening, Andy? If it did, it's over now. Carvajal, the ball was bouncing up. I had one hand up on Nunez.
Yeah.
It went down pretty easily, but I don't know. That's pretty risky from Carvajal there to raise your arm like that in the penalty box, but probably the right decision. I don't think there was enough contact there to give a penalty kick. As Liverpool just getting ahead of steam, their fans are roaring them on, and whatever happens tonight, maybe some Liverpool fans are thinking this is actually closer than they thought it might have been. If you think back to a few weeks ago when they had that defeats in the Premier League, probably dreading this game, but I'm sure they're not thinking it now, right, after being 2-0 up, but they're still in this. They're still in this. As Alexander cuts in on his left foot, crosses it in. Real Madrid clear. Henderson's under severe pressure now. Under pressure, going back towards his own goal. Shanks the clearance. Benzema now is putting Alisson under pressure. And he clears the ball, but we're just seeing that momentum shift again to Real Madrid after that early goal in the second half. And it's hard to see. I'm looking at the bench for Liverpool. What are we thinking? Jota and Firmino to come on momentarily? It feels like they need the experience of those two just to try and get them on the front foot again in this game.
Yeah, I know Cody Gakpo was great at the World Cup. It's just not happened quite yet at Liverpool, and starting him in a game, whether out of necessity or by choice, is a big step forward and a big ask and a big moment for a player at that point of his career. So Firmino probably someone that will drop into midfield a little bit more and help facilitate things and not require the fullbacks. As Benzema gets a shot, it's deflected, and we've got a fourth. Yep.
Oh my word. Karim Benzema deflection sent Alisson the wrong way, and I think it came off Joe Gomez, and that pretty much sums up his night, doesn't it, Andy?
It doesn't even matter if Liverpool have all the defenders in the right spot at the right times anymore. It's like they did nothing wrong there, and somehow the ball finds a way through. This Liverpool team feel snake bitten at this point, do they not?
They do, and to sum up the goal, Real Madrid, a 1-2 between Benzema and Vinicius, I think it was. I think it was Vinicius there, and Benzema is just kind of passing the ball towards the net. It's a pretty tame effort, really, and it's going probably straight to Alisson's gloves, and then Joe Gomez sticks out a leg. So maybe
looks like it'll be onside there.
I think he's onside. And then the ball just flicks off Joe Gomez and just totally wrong foots Alisson and dribbles into the net. And I think, I don't know.
What can you say? What can you say about where the position that Liverpool are in now? And just it feels that everything is against them, does it not?
Yeah, it really does at the moment, and it's it's difficult. It's difficult to see. I think at 2-0, I think you said it. Maybe did they score a bit too early, or what's going on here? It's almost like they didn't quite know what to do, right? Given their recent form, like they didn't expect to be 2-0 up against Real Madrid, and they're certainly playing that way now. But they got no chance. I mean, they got no real options now. They just got to go for it. I think this is going to be an incredible last 35 minutes or so for us watching, because Liverpool, I'm not saying they might as well lose 5 or 6-2, but I think they have to go and try and get the third and keep it tight now, right? So just to give themselves a chance in the second half or second leg of this, or second half of this tie overall.
It feels like whatever Madrid do, though, that chances are going to present themselves to them, and they're going to have opportunities to score more goals in this game because of the way that Liverpool will have to push forward. And as long as Madrid remain patient, And, given the experience and everything that they have won, this group of players over the years, there's no reason to believe they won't be patient and just take what comes to them. It's hard to see Liverpool getting out of this with just 4 conceded.
It really is. And this is a huge moment in Liverpool's season because of where they are in the Premier League table. Just the confidence this would have given them if they would have, held on for a win here against Real Madrid just to keep that good momentum going. But again, no disrespect to Everton or Newcastle, but we're seeing them play a team here that's clearly up a few levels, clearly. And they've made every defensive mistake Liverpool or half mistake, just been punished. But then, yes, they've been a bit unlucky. The Alisson, it was a mistake, but that could go anywhere, right? That clearance, it could hit Vinicius and bounce over the bar. It could go anywhere. And then that one there, the deflection was pretty cruel. Right now, Liverpool, that seems to be happening to them quite a lot as Real Madrid clear the ball away. Let's get to some of your comments here. Obviously, a lot of very excited Real Madrid fans. And yeah, shout out to Shaquille, by the way, because 4-2, that was his prediction all along, but now he's going for 6-2. So, hey, I'm not going to argue with you, Shaquille. You've been spot on so far, mate. So, well done to you. And what a game so far. That sums it up beautifully. And Real Madrid as a world-class team. Kareem the Dream. We got people joining us from New York City. Let us know where in the world you're joining from. Again, I'm in New York myself. Andy's in Kansas City. And thank you for joining us for this special watch-along here on Pro Soccer Talk for this massive, massive game between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And it was a great end-to-end game in the first half, Andy, but at the moment, it's only going one way with Real Madrid leading 4-2 with just over half an hour to go.
Is it too soon to have a conversation about, is this a sliding doors moment for Liverpool? Is this a sliding doors moment for Jurgen Klopp? Because for all the struggles in the Premier League this season, they've been pretty okay in the Champions League. And we have seen teams in the past that have struggled domestically and they go abroad and, they become a completely different team. They have almost a new lease on life and they play with a freedom and a confidence that they just can't seem to muster at the weekends. And it felt like, maybe Liverpool could make a run into the knockout rounds because we know they can, we know obviously they've been there before. And so they've got the experience. We think that they're going to create enough chances. It's just a matter of putting them away. But I did not expect them to continue to be this poor defensively. And I don't know how with this squad, I almost don't know how with this manager they walk it back from this point because it's not just one player or two players. It's a lot of players. It's not just the players. It's the system, which comes from the manager. It just feels like everything at Liverpool right now is broken, and I don't know if it's fixable.
Yeah, and here come Real Madrid again, coming down the right. They are just picking their moments to attack now, Andy, and this is pretty ominous for Liverpool. And Shaquille's prediction could be coming true, I think. Modric here on the right to Benzema. Oh, Benzema gives it away, and now Liverpool got a chance on the counter. Nunez breaking through. Gakpo's up in front of him. Salah's to his
He missed it. He had it.
And now we got a big chance for Real Madrid. Benzema's played in. Oh, the ball's just overhit a little bit. But play goes on. He's cutting from the right. And now they're just toying with Liverpool, aren't they? They're just toying with them, Andy, because they're in a lovely situation. 4-2 up, away from home. And Liverpool have to do all the chasing and the hunting. But Modric, as this game has worn on, is just having more and more of a say and an impact on the tempo. And, yeah, just incredible to watch, really, isn't it?
This is more how Liverpool should have been defending at 1-0 and 2-0. They've got everybody back within 40 yards of their own goal. They're not spread wide open the way that they were. It's a little late for that.
Yeah, absolutely. As a cross comes in just over everybody, and Jordan Henderson clears it, but Fede Valverde shuts him down, and he's been exceptional. Obviously, a rising star. His ball in the Champions League final last year to set up the winner for Vinicius was excellent. And I think fair play to the Real Madrid midfield there because there's a lot of question marks, obviously, after Casemiro leaving in the summer. And then Kroos, Tchouaméni, who had an excellent World Cup for France, not being available for this game. Camavinga and Valverde have really stepped up alongside Modric. They're wonderful players, of course they are. But in this situation, there's really good. And they lost David Alaba as well. Don't forget to injury in the first half.
It's nice when you can bring in arguably the best midfield prospect in the last decade. You've got a couple injuries, you've got some illness, and you can just slot in Eduardo Camavinga, who was an $80 million player, right into the center of midfield, and you don't really seem to miss a beat at all.
Absolutely. And here comes Benzema controlling the ball at the back stick, plays it back to Vinicius. He's cutting inside, goes past Trent Alexander-Arnold, goes past Jordan Henderson, but the ball is loose. Oof. Oh, Tony Rudiger with his trademark screamer from 25 yards out-ish. Smashes this one wide, though, and he loves the shot. He couldn't help himself. His eyes lit up when that ball came back. And not the worst effort in the world, but...
No.
Ooh.
Don't lie, Joe. You wanted that to go in. Irrespective of who took the shot, who it was against, just seeing a shot hit that hard, I always want to see the ball hit the back of the net.
Yeah, but unfortunately hit the back of a steward's head, but he looked okay. So it's all good. It's all good. But would not want to be getting hit with one of those Rudiger pile drivers there, my word. All right, what we got? We got 26 and a bit minutes to go. Can Liverpool get something going here? Jota is on for Nunez. He always pops up with a big goal or two, right? I mean, let us know in the predictions. Can Liverpool get back in this? Are Real Madrid already in the Champions League quarterfinals? Is this a mountain that Liverpool cannot climb either in the last third or so of this game or in the second leg away in Madrid? Let us know what you guys are thinking. And you guys are letting us know where you're watching from as well. Let's see. TLB's in the Carolinas. Shaquille is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yusuf's in Houston. Thanks to everyone for joining us. This has been fun. It's been a lot of fun doing these Champions League watch-alongs here as Liverpool win the ball back and Trent Alexander whips in a great ball to the penalty spot. Oh, and Carvajal clears it. But that's the kind of situation, right? When you bring Jota on, got Firmino on, you kind of want to whip those balls into the penalty box like that to try and they're both very good in the air, right? And just popping up in good areas and peeling off the shoulder of the defenders. So Liverpool have a corner. All hope is not lost, but they need someone in the next 5 or 10 minutes here, I think, to get at least one goal, Andy, to set them up for a grandstand finish. Corner comes in. Bobby Firmino's up. Oh, it's the edge of the box. Henderson's on it. Oh, so close from the young lad. But Cecic there curls it just wide. Kind of tells Henderson to get out of the way. How about that, Tanya Skipper? I've got this. And it wasn't as close as I thought it was. But
yeah, that started about 8 yards outside the post.
Yeah, it came back in, though. A bit of Roberto Carlos curl on it, but not enough. But, here come Real Madrid, though. Camavinga. Oh, the pass was on. It was a good pass, but I think it was Rodrigo there. Just didn't quite read the situation. All right, back down the other end now. Becoming a bit more open and end-to-end. Liverpool taking more opportunities. Fabinho central. Jota turns. Carvajal snaps into the challenge. Camavinga with a lovely little turn. Back to Rudiger. Courtois clears up the pitch. And this is now becoming really, really difficult. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alexander-Arnold now is going to throw in down the left. Oh, but Modric wins it back. He's surging forward. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Vinicius is in. Can he get to Benzema? Benzema. Benzema. Round Allison. And a goal for Karim Benzema. And the Real Madrid fans at Anfield are going absolutely bonkers. It is Real Madrid 5, Liverpool 2. Don't forget, Liverpool were 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes, but they have collapsed, crumbled, capitulated, whatever
just
term you want to use.
Brilliant counter.
Brilliant counter attack. And they've ripped them to shreds there. Vinicius and Benzema hugging each other. Jurgen Klopp is smiling. Can't quite believe it. If he wasn't smiling, I think it's just stopping him from crying. But Fabinho loses the ball to Modric. Modric surges forward. Nearly gets fouled, but perfect ball to Vinny. Vinny just slots it through Van Dijk's leg, a little nutmeg. Great turn inside from Benzema. Puts Alisson on his backside. And he's still got a lot to do. There's like 3 Liverpool defenders back on the goal line almost, and he still manages to find the top corner.
And he's got it on his left foot
from 12 yards out. So,
Yeah.
oh dear, this is brutal from Real Madrid, isn't it, Andy? And game, set, match. He just clips off inside the post there. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
This feels like the end. Very unceremonious, very, very quick in its arrival from 2-0 up after 15 minutes to 5-2 down with 15 minutes to go, or 25 minutes to go, still in the game almost. I don't know how Liverpool pick themselves back up. I don't know how Klopp gets the attention and focus of this team again after, you said it, collapse, capitulation, pick whatever word you want. There have been a lot of those for Liverpool this season, and this is just on a completely different scale. This is multiplied times 10 because it's in the Champions League, because it's against Real Madrid, because the number of people that are gonna be watching this, because of what it could have meant to their season as well. It was kind of the last lifeline of, well, we could maybe make this a successful season if we go on and win the Champions League. You forget if you finish 6th or 7th in the league, if you win the Champions League, because the last game of the season, you are lifting the trophy. But that's not happening. And so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you give up 5 goals in under an hour as a team and as a defense, and then come back from that. It feels a bridge too far.
It really does. It really does right now. And Jurgen Klopp can't believe it. Liverpool fans can't quite believe it. I don't know. Is there sort of a question about his future now, Andy? Is it getting to that stage? It's harsh because this is Real Madrid and they can do this to most teams. But these are just highlighting all the problems Liverpool have had throughout the seasons.
Yeah, but Liverpool think they are a Real Madrid, and to their credit, for the last 5 or so years, they have been. They have been on that level, and that's been the stratosphere that they have existed in. They no longer exist there. They are multiple rungs below where Real Madrid are. They're not playing the same sport since Liverpool went up 2-0. It's been very timid. It's been very scared. It's been full of mistakes from Liverpool, and Real Madrid didn't bat an eyelash at 2-0 down. I think Real Madrid knew. Even going a couple goals down, they didn't seem to panic. They didn't seem to start to press and try too hard. It was just, okay, we gave up 2. They're going to at least give us 2. They might give us 3. They might give us 4. Turns out they've given them 5 now at this point. So it's just, I don't think Klopp will be fired. I think the relationship between him and the club is too good, and him and the fans is too good, that I think he will do, what will be seen as the right thing, and probably at some point, maybe not in season, but maybe at the end of the season, resign and step away. And it'll be a lot of mixed emotions, I think, from a lot of people. Some fans of other Premier League teams probably pretty happy to see him go. Some will be, happy to kind of point and laugh a little bit, but it's going to be a really interesting time for Liverpool, because it's not, had he left 2 years ago, it's a much better job for prospective managers than it is now. This is a full rebuild that we're talking about for whoever comes in next, or if Klopp sticks around, I guess it's still an option, but it's kind of a rebuild moment for Liverpool. And we also don't know about the ownership group. We don't know what's in store there. There's as many questions off the field for Liverpool as there have been questions on the field for them in this game today.
I mean, here's a stat for you. This is only the 3rd time this century that Liverpool have conceded 5 goals in a home game. Also doing so in January 2007 when they lost 6-3 to Arsenal, and in October 2019 when they had that crazy 5-5 draw with Arsenal. So this doesn't happen often. I think Liverpool's fans now are stunned. Difficult time, really difficult time, and just a really interesting time for Liverpool. Obviously, the owner, John W. Henry, coming out and saying Liverpool's not for sale. That was just yesterday. And saying they're more so looking for investment in the team. So just intriguing to see what that means in terms of transfer spend for this rebuild that you alluded to, Andy, which obviously needs to happen, and fast. This is something they have to really go fast on now, because clearly they are a long, long way from where they want to be. Matip and Milner are coming on. Looks like damage limitation in that situation. And Shaquille, by the way, I mean, you got one more goal, mate, until your next score prediction's right. So what are you going to go for next? 8-3 or something? So well done to you. Shaquille there says they were extremely open after 2-0. Take that to halftime in a totally different game. Yeah, it was weird, right? It's almost like they got caught up in the moment and the atmosphere of Anfield, which is easy to do. But it's like, we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. And maybe they aren't capable, like Andy said right now, of defending and keeping those clean sheets. So really intriguing. Let us know where you're watching from in the world. Let us know your comments, your predictions for the final 20 minutes or so of this game. This is just absolutely crazy. I don't think any of us expected this, right? I don't know. Did we expect this? We expected it to be closer than this, but
I expected Real Madrid would be the better side today and over 2 legs, and they would probably go through. But to this degree at Anfield, and just the way events have played out is what makes it so difficult to digest and to really believe that it's happening. I almost can't believe that I'm watching this as it's happening, as every single goal goes in. You know, it feels a bit, and I'm thinking back when was it 6-2 or 8-2 that Arsenal took just an incredible defeat to Man United one year, and it just felt like it was the end, and it effectively was.
It reminds me of when Bayern smashed Barcelona as well. I think that was that 8-2.
Yes,
very similar. End of an era. Really, that was obviously an amazing rebuild on so many levels of Barcelona, moving on Messi and all the rest of it, but. I'm getting very similar vibes here, Andy. This is
when it's over, and it's over quickly. It's over very, very quickly, and that's what makes it so difficult. Is you always almost have to move on a year too early rather than a year too late. And it certainly feels like Liverpool, with a few players in the team now, and maybe even the manager, I think you could make an argument, have fallen on the wrong side of that. And it's difficult because the signs can be so small. Like, it can be the smallest things. It can not even be something on the field. It can be things off the field. It can be things in the dressing room. It can be relationships breaking down. It can just be, you have a manager that's in charge for almost a decade, and the same ideas and the same, philosophies and just the same things keep getting drilled in. And at a certain point, maybe you don't stop hearing it, but it just, it feels so common and so normal that, I don't know. It's astonishing to watch in real time. Like, it feels like we've seen the end of this Liverpool team.
And is it midfield? Is that the issue? There's a few comments here coming in, and edits there. Midfield is horrible. That's the comment, and that we thought that's where Liverpool might have the edge tonight with some of the absentees for Real Madrid, but just seen them overpowered. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Modric has had such an impact in the second half of this game. It's that's Liverpool haven't looked right all season. I referenced this. I went to the opening game of the season where they drew at Craven Cottage against Fulham. Fulham are a good team. We know they're right up there. They're above Liverpool in the Premier League table right now.
Yeah.
But there was that energy, that spark just was missing from the very start of the campaign, and just easy to say now, but it just kind of worried me at the time. I actually was going to go back and read that recap on our website and see what I was saying about it, because it was un-Liverpool. And you always thought, okay, once the season gets going, and a weird season, World Cup break, etc., they'll be okay. But they have never got going, and the pressing game has just not been there throughout this season. And midfield, they need a Jude Bellingham, right? But unless they finish in the top 4, that's not going to happen. So,
to that point, I would say, what midfield? Like, it's been non-existent. Madrid have won the ball back wherever on the field. They win it deep inside their own defensive third, and they just walk through the middle third of the field and right into the attack, into the final third. It's just, it's very easy to play against them and play through them. Fabinho and Jordan Henderson have certainly, seen better days and together and individually in their Liverpool careers. And Bajcetic might be a good player one day, but clearly not a player that, you can put the weight and expectation and pressure of Real Madrid in the Champions League knockout rounds on at this point. And so it's not one player, it's not one individual, it's a little bit of absolutely everything. I don't think I'll say it this way. I'm looking at the team here. Aside from Darwin Nunez, and who this was kind of a rare, like really strong performance from him because he's been so up and down this season, I don't think you can point to anyone and say they're not a problem for this Liverpool team. Even Mohamed Salah, who is getting to a point of his career where, yeah, he will still have games where he gets a goal and assist like he has today. But then he'll kind of disappear for two or 3 weeks, and then he'll have another great game. It's just the consistency is not there from him. The quality is not there from others. And when one player starts to drop in terms of their performance, that puts pressure on others. And so somebody else has to step up into and take on that responsibility. And there's just nobody to do it in this team. And it's everybody seems like they're shrinking and wilting and all at the same time. And that's how you get something like we're seeing today.
Yeah, and I mean, just the stat come up there, 9 shots for each team. But obviously Real Madrid scored with 5 of them, and Liverpool only with 2. So this is a clinic. And Fangs there says Real Madrid can still lose. It's only the first leg. And Edit says, bro, Madrid is going to go through. I think we all agree with Edit's there. Sorry, Liverpool fans, but this is going to take a miraculous comeback. You've done it before against Barcelona, to be fair, but this feels like a very different Liverpool team right now. Very different situation. Let us know, again, where you're watching from in the world. We had, I think Zimbabwe was in the house there. So hello to you in Zimbabwe. Thanks so much for joining us. We always have some great places around the world. There we go. So thanks so much to Luke as well for joining us from Dallas. And again, I'm Joe Prince-Wright, Andy Edwards. We're in New York and in Kansas City. James Smith's in Barcelona. Hello to you. I'm pretty sure the locals in Barcelona will be a little bit worried about this Real Madrid display. Obviously, they're 8 points behind Barca in the La Liga title race. But yeah, this might just give them the confidence they need right in the second half of the season to go on a big run with some big El Clásicos coming up. Fabinho is coming into midfield. At the moment, there's not a lot going on, to be honest. Real Madrid are pretty happy with their 3-goal advantage, sitting back, defending deep. And Liverpool just, yeah, they know their race is running this one. So it's going to be interesting to see what Klopp says after this game, I think. We got Houston in the house. Some Everton fans getting involved. Mission accomplished, Agent Carlo. Wow, that's banter. A can of worms open there. Talk about kicking the team while they're down. But, yeah, this is a bit of a worry here for Real Madrid. Looks like Rodrigo is down. Looks like he's going to be okay to walk it off. Is that a Danny Ceballos sighting? I think I see there about to come on. So,
yeah,
wow.
You know things are going well for Madrid when Ceballos gets a run out.
Yeah, here he comes. Here he comes. Rodrigo's off. 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Don't think there's much time left in Liverpool's Champions League campaign this season, Andy. So, if we look at sort of the reaction, and by the way, an update from elsewhere in the Champions League tonight. Napoli, who are flying at the top of Serie A, they are 2-0 up away at Eintracht Frankfurt. So they are looking very good to advance to the quarterfinals, and they're generally looking really good, right? Di Lorenzo put them 2-0 up after Osimhen put them 1-0 up after great work from Chucky Lozano. So, and Frankfurt have been reduced to 10 men. Kolo Muani, the French striker, was sent off with 30 minutes to go. So Napoli looking pretty good to advance there, Andy. And I guess my question to you about Real Madrid is, do we fancy them to win it again and go back to back and add, instead of saying 14 on the badge of how many trophies they've won, add make 15 for next season on that badge? Because this is a demolition job, but I don't quite know how to judge them because Liverpool have been that bad defensively.
Based on what we've seen in the knockout round so far, they're certainly the most impressive. We had 3-1. We had 3 1-0s last week and a 2-0, and that was Benfica. All due respect, probably there's bigger and better teams in the competition than them. I'm similar to the Liverpool conversation we had earlier about Premier League form and going away in Europe. I'm curious to see what Manchester City look like in the knockout rounds and how obviously they want to win the competition. It's the one thing that's left for them. It's the one box that's not been ticked off. It's the crown jewel, that they're waiting to win. And then Pep can say he's done absolutely everything at Manchester City. The club can say they've won everything there is to win. But they've been, not quite to the degree of Liverpool this season, but they have been up and down. They've been shaky. They've been unreliable. In defensively has been an issue, and even recently struggling to get goals from Erling Haaland. So I think it's between those two is what I'm coming down to say. But of course, it's gonna fall to what is the quarterfinal draw and what is the semifinal draw. If we get those two teams in the next round, then I think it'd be a big shame, because to me those are the two best teams in the competition. I think Bayern are having some trouble domestically as well, but they were impressive what they did against PSG last week. So maybe those are the three favorites if you're forcing me to pick three right now.
Oh, Real Madrid surging forward there, but they want a free kick right on the edge of the box, Andy. Not going to get it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Real Madrid, you can't rule them out of any game. Even if, like we saw tonight, they're 2-0 down, they just have that belief and confidence and experience they're going to get it done. And if they all stay fit, Benzema, Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Modric, that quartet, I think we've seen tonight just how destructive they can be and just demoralizing for other teams playing against them. So as Liverpool are trying here to get one more goal back, Salah's in the box, good sliding clearance, are still going for it, Liverpool, trying to get one back. Bobby Firmino can't get the ball out of his feet, and Real Madrid clear. And here they come, Fede Valverde, I think that is, out there, and they're just knocking it around lovely. Good question here from Meow Smiley. What does it take for Liverpool to recover and come back stronger? I'll take this one. I think it might take a new manager. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think this game is the beginning of the end for Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. I hate to say that. He's a great guy. He's done wonderful things, won everything with them. But sometimes it just naturally comes to an end with a manager and a group of players. And I feel like Klopp, like he did at Dortmund, right? As soon as the first whiff of this is on the downward spiral, he would rather just go. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the summer, at the end of the season, in May time, we are speaking about Liverpool without Jurgen Klopp. And I know he only recently signed a new contract, and obviously the owners want him to stay. And he said multiple times, I want to be here. I'm committed to the team. But I think to come back stronger, you may have to change the philosophy. And this is actually a wider point I've been thinking a lot about. High pressing. I don't know how well it works anymore. I think we're now into maybe a slightly different era of a hybrid kind of tactic in terms of, yes, we can high press, but keeping the ball, having control of the game is just as important. And as we saw here, you can play, if you're good enough and you have good enough players, even in the Premier League, we see it at times, right, where Brentford or Brighton or Wolves have beat Liverpool and dismantled them at times this season. You can be direct against this Liverpool team. If you can weather the storm a little bit, they're easier to play against. So, I don't know. Tell
Brentford,
me
Brighton, Wolves, three teams you just named there. What do they have in common? They've got very, very clever tactical managers who will look at how an opponent sets up and say, okay, you're going to try and press us for 90 minutes. We know that. We will have a plan for that. And they're, after so long, things get found out, things get worked out, things get figured out. And there is always, for every new tactical evolution, there's always going to be a response to it, and that's going to usher in the next tactical evolution. And I think you're spot on to say that you can't play that way all the time. And that means within a game for 90 minutes, that means every single game. And perhaps that is where Klopp has kind of faltered a bit, is he never really had a plan B. We've never, and it was kind of the same story at Dortmund as well, where things started to go badly. He didn't change. He doubled down. He tripled down and said, okay, we'll press harder. We will try to play faster. We will try to play more direct. And it just, eventually it stops working, and you have to be flexible. You have to be able to change. And so Thomas Frank, Graham Potter, Roberto De Zerbi together at Brighton, and also now Julen Lopetegui at Wolves, those are three very, very clever managers who can say, well, we will put together a plan for that and play right through you and just absolutely blow away a team that probably costs 10 times as much to assemble as those squads do. So the other thing I would say to your point, Joe, about what Liverpool will need, 300 or 400 million probably spent in the transfer window over the course of a season or two as well. I don't think this is a one summer or even one season rebuild either. I think it's a little bit more long term than that, because if you look at the length of some of the contracts that they've got on some of the players that we're talking about that they probably need to move on from and replace, they're either going to have to let them ride those contracts out for another year or two, or they're going to have to take massive, massive losses and sell them on for very little. So, yeah, there's no quick or easy fix when a club is of the size of Liverpool and the financial might of Liverpool gets to this point. It's why you want to be a year early rather than a year too late.
And by the way, just Tony Kroos has just come on, and he was a late addition to the Real Madrid squad. He didn't travel with them to England. He had illness, but he recovered enough, so he's come on for the final 5 minutes. So that's more good news for Real Madrid, right? He'll be okay for the second leg. And yeah, Liverpool, just what they wanted to see. A German superstar who's won it all with Madrid, just coming on just to help him see out. But as I say that, he's giving the ball away, and Salah is coming into the box, plays it to Harvey Elliott, who was on as well. He clips it, but good defending there from Real Madrid. And we got 90 seconds plus stoppage time left here at Anfield. And it's going to be interesting, Andy, to see, again, the reaction, the fallout from this. But I just don't think, I just can't see Liverpool getting past Real Madrid here. I know there's some positive comments in the chat, people saying, it's not over yet. Of course, we've seen crazy things happen in this game over the years, but this is different. This is just very, very different with the situation Liverpool's in right now. If anything, I think if they keep it respectable at the Bernabeu in the second leg, then you got to be happy enough with that. Maybe a draw, a narrow defeat.
It's going to be interesting to see who Klopp puts out there for that second leg. Like, they have so much to play for still in the Premier League that if it ends 5-2 or maybe more still, is there a point beyond we respect the competition to like sending a real actual team?
Yeah. No disrespect. I mean, the next kind of 5 Premier League games around that trip to Real Madrid are Crystal Palace, Wolves, Bournemouth, Fulham, and then a huge one at home against Man United as well. So, yeah, either side of that Real Madrid second leg, they're away at Bournemouth and then at home against Fulham. And no disrespect to Bournemouth or Fulham, but you've got to think now Liverpool's focus will be switching to, we need to get at least, definitely 6 points from those games. Wolves and Palace, got to get wins there. And as we said, they got games in hand in the top 4 race. So they can't be too downhearted. But at the same time, this is I think a sobering and humbling night for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, just to see how far away they are from probably where they thought they were after this, the week where they've beaten Everton and Newcastle and had a resurgence of sorts. But that's come crashing to the ground now, just like Diogo Jota just did as he was clipped as he tried to start a counter. Man of the match, Andy. What are we thinking? Who are we going to give it to? Obviously, some real contenders there going forward for Real Madrid. Is this an easy one?
I can give you 2 that's really easy. I mean, Vinicius and Benzema were absolutely incredible. Both with 2 goals and an assist in this one. I would probably go with Vinicius because he did the majority of his work early in the game when it was still very much in question, and was at the heart of everything that Madrid did in the first half. And yeah, so on the basis of what he did in the first half, I'm going to go with Vinicius, and it's just another feather in the cap of what has been a brilliant season for him as he continues to ascend up into that level that we talked about in the first half. He is a part of the Mbappe, Haaland, and now Vinicius conversation about best player in the world. He's been that good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Meow Smiley said it there. Let us know in the comments who you guys think would be man of the match. Modric was another good shout as well, I was thinking, in terms of just how he took over the game and that killer third goal, really, right? The ball into the box to find Militao, the precision, and just how he led the counter. I'm losing track now. That was for the 5th goal, right? When he won the ball back in midfield and surged forward. But I'm with you. I think Vinicius, just what he did in terms of the quality of the first goal was really a sucker punch. If Liverpool could have held on and just been 2-0 for another 5 or 10 minutes towards half time, then they could have maybe seen that out in the first half. But the way that he made those runs in behind, crossed in another ball for Rodrigo nearly to finish off. I hate to say it, but he's given Trent Alexander-Arnold an absolutely terrible time there. Joe Gomez as well just had no answer to those runs in behind. So for me, pretty clear that Vinicius was man of the match, and Benzema, Modric, the old guard, stepping up once again, showing their experience. As Harvey Elliott gets a yellow card, he's snapping away into the challenges there. But we are nearly done at Anfield for this first leg of the Champions League last 16. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. Madrid just spraying the ball around. Referee's about to blow his whistle for full time. And a very deserved win for Real Madrid in the end after a shaky start. And it is over. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. Jurgen Klopp and Carlo Ancelotti with a little hug on the sidelines. Respectful there. Obviously, the second leg in a few weeks' time in Madrid. Liverpool got all to do a 3-goal deficit to overturn. And Benzema is smiling. Vinicius is smiling. Every Real Madrid fan right now is smiling. And that was a clinic, as we say, right? In the second half in particular, of just how to surge back and make the most of the opportunities. And it seems like a long time ago, but Liverpool were 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes of this game by Liverpool. But they just collapsed, capitulated, crumbled, whatever you want to say. So my big question to you, Andy, is as we analyze Liverpool past it, is this the beginning of the end for Jurgen Klopp? Do we think this kind of signifies the squad issues they've had, the style of play issues with the high pressing not working, and just everything has been ruthlessly exposed by a very, very good Real Madrid team? But as Klopp kind of comes off the pitch here at the end of the game and he looks a bit shell-shocked, I think is the best way to put it. It seems like he knows this is becoming a really difficult task for him at Liverpool. And again, they're still in the top 400 in the Premier League, but it looks like their Champions League hopes for this season are pretty much over. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. For this season, certainly. I don't think it's the beginning of the end. I think we're well past the beginning of what the end is going to look like for Liverpool. I'm looking at what they've done this season in the Premier League. Joe, they won 2 of their first 8 games in the Premier League. That is the beginning of an end for a club like Liverpool and a manager like Klopp, given what they have achieved during his tenure. Like, this has been happening all season. This is not anything new. And so this is, while nobody may have predicted, 5-2 with 5 unanswered goals for Real Madrid, this was always in play. This was not out of left field that this happened to Liverpool, to this Liverpool team, the way that they've been this season. So yeah, it feels like it might be the end of the end for Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. Like it feels like we're at that point. I said it earlier in the game. I don't know how they come back from this. I don't know how he picks this team back up from this. I don't know how the players listen to anything that he has to say in the locker room after this game and respond to it, because so much of what is a problem for this team is Jurgen Klopp's system, is Jurgen Klopp's tactics, and he does not deviate from that. He does not change, and that's been, that has helped him at points in his managerial career. He has always believed in himself. He has always believed in this team and his system, and that has gotten them through some fairly difficult times, but never anything like this. And certainly it's never been the reason that they have been in a situation like they are now. So I think Liverpool fans will remember him fondly. Obviously, they won a Premier League under him. They won a Champions League under him. But this is just about the end.
Yeah, I think I could see Klopp leaving at the end of the season. I still think Liverpool could finish 4th in the Premier League. I still think they could do that and recover and have enough in them to do that. But this is a hammer blow. This 5-2 defeat at home against Real Madrid after you were 2-0 up early, flying, all firing all cylinders, right? And then to make that great goal from Vinicius, but then to make the mistake to make it 2-2 just sucked everything out of Liverpool. And again, I mentioned it earlier, it's the stylistic change, I think, of just football. It happens over time. We look at tiki-taka from Barcelona, how everyone wanted to play that way. And then over time, teams figured out how to stifle that and then hit teams on the counter. And then we're seeing it the same with Liverpool now. And Jurgen Klopp is the godfather, right? And the main man for gegenpressing. Everyone wanted to do it over the last few years. But now we're seeing teams getting caught out and they're not working at Leeds United, at Southampton, at other teams in the Premier League that have tried to replicate that, and even the Red Bull teams as well. So every kind of generation or era, tactically it changes and tweaks a little bit. And I think this defeat for me highlights not the players, not Klopp, but just stylistically how football is changing and developing. So that's a bigger picture thing for me, not just Liverpool, put them to one side. But I'm intrigued to see who kind of comes up with the next big style that's implemented and copied around the globe, because I still don't think there is one right now. I think maybe if you look at Morocco from the World Cup, the sort of sit back, but then counter with precision, keep the ball well when you have it. There's a real combination now in terms of controlling the tempo of games and just being at ease with the ball, as well as pressing in certain situations. It's almost like a zonal gegenpressing, if you know what I mean. Instead of the whole team going, it's just portions of teams. So anyway,
it's a bit what Arsenal are doing now, right?
Exactly. And Man City do it well. You know, they always talk about piling on and pinning teams in as well, and they obviously do it really well. But it's sad for Liverpool, and I think sad for neutrals, really, watching that demolition job, the capitulation, again, the collapse, catastrophic from Liverpool. But as we said, it's been kind of coming. I mean, Brighton, Brentford, Wolves, the way they've lost those games this season, not too dissimilar. Obviously, Real Madrid have taken it up a level in terms of quality and their clinical finishes. What was it, 9 attempts on goal, and they scored 5 of them. So just shows you how good they are and how ruthlessly Liverpool can be exposed. So I think for the second leg, it's just about playing for pride for Liverpool. And now the big question, Andy, is this season. I think they can still challenge for the top 4. Do you think that's actually possible? I don't know. I don't know if they can really recover from a beating like this.
I don't think so, honestly. Like they've not shown anything aside from a victory over Everton, who at the time in the relegation zone, and a victory over Newcastle, who are very limited without Bruno Guimaraes in the team, and just haven't scored a ton of goals all season anyway. I've seen nothing from them that makes me think that there is a quick, and because it has to be a quick turnaround. They're at the point of the Premier League season now where there's no more time to waste. There's no more, we'll figure things out and we'll get it down the road. They need to start winning this weekend, and they need to pick up wins and string them together in succession. And I can't name a worse performance that I've seen from a Premier League team in Europe, maybe ever. I mean, it was abysmal after going 2-0 up, the way that they just completely, they didn't quite give up, but they almost might as well have given up in that game, because it felt like, they had no chance. So I think top 4 would be a big ask. And if they aren't able to do it, then it makes the managerial hire, it makes the signings and the squad rebuild infinitely more difficult, because they don't have Champions League to offer, and they also don't have the money of the Champions League to offer as well.
Yeah, the likes of Jude Bellingham and other players they want to get to rebuild their midfield around. I mean, it's going to be a lot tougher. They're not in the top 4. But next few games, Crystal Palace this weekend, then Liverpool playing Wolves at home. Then they're at home against Man United. Then they're away at Bournemouth. Then they have the second leg against Real Madrid away, which is looking like a damage limitation job. And then they have Fulham at Anfield before the international break at the end of March. So some winnable games there in the Premier League to recover. And then after the international break, they have the small matter first game back away at Manchester City. So Liverpool, there's a lot of challenges ahead. I don't just think for this season, but for the rebuild, with or without Jurgen Klopp. And it was a really humbling defeat for them against Real Madrid. And I think midfield in particular is where they need to strengthen. And again, the style of play situation needs to change for me for Liverpool if they're going to get back to where they want to be, which is winning trophies. And, last season on the cusp of the quadruple, they weren't a million miles away, but how quickly things change in football. We said it again, a lot of players just going over the hill at the same time. And it's difficult to predict that, as we saw with Manchester United over a decade ago. When that's going to happen, you just do not know. So Andy, thanks so much for joining me for this watch along today. Been an absolute pleasure for that barnstormer in the Champions League last 16 first leg. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. Everyone out there watching this special watch along, thank you so much for your comments, for joining us all over the world. We love doing this. We'll be doing this throughout the rest of the Premier League season for Champions League games and all the big games coming up. So remember to head over to Pro Soccer Talk. You can see it at the bottom of the screen there on NBCsports.com for all the latest news from around all these competitions. We have video highlights, reaction, analysis, and more on Real Madrid's big win at Liverpool and everything else in the soccer world. So from us here, from me, Joe Prince-Wright in New York, from Andy Edwards in Kansas City, thanks to you all out there for watching, and we'll speak to you all very soon indeed. Cheers, guys. Really appreciate it. And my word, if you're a Real Madrid fan, you'll have a wonderful night. I know that for sure. Take care.